What's going on, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode is brought to you by Transfuse. As you guys know, Transfuse keeps us hydrated, feeling well, keeps our immune system strong. We absolutely love this stuff. This is a very easy ad for us to do. Transfuse has become a part of our daily routine. Every single day, I'm drinking my watermelon lime. It is nutritious and delicious. Over 1,500 milligrams of vitamin C, which is absolutely epic. Great for the immune system. It has a great dose of zinc as well, and also vitamin B, which, in these times where we need to be taking care of ourselves as best as we can, this is an amazing addition to an electrolyte drink, which also has, the typical electrolytes: sodium, potassium, magnesium, things to keep your body feeling great. And as an athlete, especially one that tends to sweat quite a bit when I'm exercising, there is nothing better to keep my body extremely hydrated. I just got back from Boston, and we played in a 10-man event, and the entire time that we were out there, it was 95 degrees with like 70% humidity. It was torturous. It was absolutely disgusting weather. It was so hot. It was really hard to stay hydrated, but Transfuse kept us feeling incredibly refreshed. We actually won the 10-man event as well, which was pretty awesome. So huge shout out to Transfuse for sponsoring us, and they also sponsored the summer camp and all the kids that were at the camp, which was basically a 4-day clinic, very intense event that we played paintball pretty much all day long in that type of weather, and a lot of the players really loved and appreciated the Transfuse. So if you guys would like, you could head over to Transfuse, their website. It's translabs.com, tranzlabs.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, and you'll get 10% off. It's a great way to support the show, and honestly, guys, you just have to try it for yourself. Again, tastes really good, helps you get the water down, has a lot of really, really amazing benefits, and is more than an electrolyte drink. It is also a cognitive enhancer and an immune booster, so we love this stuff. This episode is also brought to you by G2 Paintball. G2 Paintball is an amazing paintball athletics company that is designed to make you a better paintball athlete. They host regular events out in Arizona to where you can come and get training by some of the top professionals, top coaches in the game. Rusty Glaze and Victor Gamboa are the owners. I know Tyler Harmon is working with them as well. I also will be doing stuff with them in the future, but the whole idea behind G2 Paintball is to teach you how to be a better paintball athlete, and all of the types of training that you do are specific to paintball movements, which is so important. I say this all the time. You can try to train and you can go and run 6-10 miles a day, at a decent pace, and then you go and play one paintball match and you are spent. Your body's not prepared for it. It's because it's an entirely different type of movement and type of endurance that you need to play paintball and compete at the highest level. Well, G2 Paintball is designed and geared for exactly that. So you guys could head over to g2paintball.com, find out more information, see if you can make it to one of the events. It is incredibly affordable as well. If you sign up for the full 6-week course, I think it's like $25 per course, which is incredibly cheap. That's way cheaper than if you were to hire a personal trainer at your gym, and you're getting these lessons by top level professionals and coaches that have had tons of success in the game. So there's really nothing like it. Again, guys, g2paintball.com. Check them out and let us know what you think. This episode is also brought to you by Savage Paintball. And Savage Paintball is such a dope company. We absolutely love these. For our YouTubers, you guys have seen me pull up the magnetic paintball boards. It's a magnetic board with 3D printed bunkers that you can easily move the bunkers around and set up whatever layout it is you are preparing for. I take this board with me to all of the events that I am coaching. It is a great way for me to explain the concepts that I'm trying to get across to the teams that I am working with in a very visual way. When I'm preparing for tournaments that I'll be competing in myself, I set up the layout and I keep this board on my coffee table. I look at it throughout the week. It is an amazing way to visualize my shots, the game plans, strategy, the different concepts that the team was talking about, That way, when I go to the field on the weekend for practice and then most importantly for the tournament, I am so mentally prepared that I'm not going to forget any bunker calls. I'm not going to forget any shots, any lanes, any zones. Everything is super fresh. This company is awesome. You guys can head over to savagepaintball.com. You could get a fully customizable board where you can put your own team logo or a phrase, whatever it is that you want on these boards, or you can get a PTG custom board. Either one that you choose, if you use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you will also get 10% off. Another amazing way to support the show. They're one of our partners that we absolutely love working with. The owner's an awesome dude who has been playing paintball for a very long time, loves the sport, and is trying to do a great job of giving back to the community and helping players prepare for competition. So, again, you can head over to savagepaintball.com. Check them out, and if you do end up picking up one of the PTG paintball custom boards, make sure to take a picture, tag us on Instagram. We love to share and repost that stuff. It's absolutely amazing. But guys, without further ado, this episode was so awesome. We had Rusty Glaze on, and as you all know, he is the coach of Dynasty. He is our coach and longtime friend. He was actually a teammate of mine before all of this on Infamous as well. So we have a lot of history, and it's really fun catching up with him and talking to him about what it takes to be a top-level coach in the game of paintball. So again, without further ado, we will see you in the show. All right.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
Rusty Glaze, coach, our guy, our friend. What's up, man? How's it going?
Yeah, baby.
It's going well, man. Just living in the bunkered down life.
Dude, COVID times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it's good to see you, man. We miss you, miss everybody. It's been way too long since we've been able to get the group back together and play paintball. So hopefully that's in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
It's like the longest off season.
It's
the shortest season we've ever had, and the longest off season we've ever had. I mean, literally. I mean, since I've been playing tournament paintball, this is the longest break from traveling in paintball that I've ever had.
Me too. Yeah. This has been crazy.
It's crazy.
But yeah, safety first. Obviously, we got to make sure everything is done properly. And man, just praying for everybody out there. And hopefully we can get to playing some paintball with everybody soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to be rolling right into the 2021 mid-season.
Yeah,
sure.
I pretty much wrote off. Like Jess was like, "Do you think you're going to Orlando or World Cup?" I'm like, I'm just gonna say no.
Yeah.
If it happens, that's kind of a nice bonus, but I'm not set up to be like they're going to cancel that event. I'm just assuming it's not.
Yeah.
And then if it happens, I'll be like, let's gear up, let's go.
That's it.
You know.
Yeah, more time. Hey, we can do more G2 paintball, something like that. You know, get stuff cooking up with that.
Yeah, we're definitely booking weekends for that.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely,
no doubt.
Yeah, there's still a crazy demand. You know, it's obviously hard for the bigger events to be ran right now, but a lot of people are hungry for clinics. And, you know, we just got back from Boston. Tyler and I did the 10-man out there. We did a Dynasty clinic on the Friday, and then we did, I did summer camp. Just got back from that yesterday. So
you were on a mission.
Yeah.
Dude, 100%.
And I talked to Anthony yesterday, just like, you know, when all that happens, he's invisible because he's so wrapped up in all the stuff happening. So I caught up with him yesterday. And I'm like, dude, that is a 10-day mission because he's got you guys hosting. You guys are there for the 10-man.
Yep.
Then you're rolling into your fishing trip, and then you're there getting ready for summer camp.
Yeah,
I mean
he takes care of us. He takes care of us so well. Anthony is the man. Huge shout out to Boston Paintball out there. They're doing great things for paintball and always have been. If you're on the East Coast, definitely head out there and play some ball.
Yeah, no doubt. I've always been impressed with like what they do for the players.
Yeah,
both the professionals and all their local players.
Mm-hmm.
They always go out of their way. Team USA, they put a lot of effort.
Yeah,
I mean, they do more than they need to for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a full plate, and it seems like they're always trying to add on, and it's often truly for the players, which is really cool.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, they've been crushing it over there, just playing a lot of paintball and obviously doing it safely during the times that we're in, but still playing a lot of ball, getting it done.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
took a ton of safety precautions, and summer camp was a little different because of that, because of everything that we had to do to put in place. But we're thankful that we were able to make it happen, and we had a great turnout. A lot of people showed up, and we're really excited. And it's funny. Nick Laval and I were talking about it actually while we were out there. The talent is just getting better and better each year, dude. It's unbelievable.
For sure.
Rusty,
Yeah.
I mean, in like 5 to 7 years, probably 10 kids that were at that camp or that are in the system, some of the Team USA kids, they truly have the opportunity to be a top 5 professional in the league. It's crazy, the type of talent that has been out to these things.
Yeah, and I can see that. I mean, if you're starting early on and you're getting the proper training, and then you're taking that and you're sort of fast tracking if you're using that training rather than like, when I was coming in, there wasn't like clinics to go to.
Right.
Back like I went and did a clinic in 2003 when I was on Miami Effect. I went and did a clinic at Peb's Paintball. I just made it up. We were just like, hey, let's teach people how to play paintball. Me and Steve Rabikoff were like, hey, he's like, I'll bring you in. We'll teach kids how to play paintball, because he had like a 3-man series. I was like, sounds good. I came home with a $1,200 check, and John Richardson, his mind was blown. He's like, he was like, what? You did what? You taught who for 2 days? And it was like, he was just like, can I do that?
Yeah,
and I was
sure.
like, yeah, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
And
like there wasn't really a big clinic scene back then. I didn't have clinics to go to.
yeah.
So then it was like, now like you can go to these clinics and summer camps, and kids have great opportunities to go get proper training and then apply that training, on their own, and then fast track themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're getting seen in front of, top level professionals and coaches through all of these organizations, these systems, whether it's the BKI Combine or the summer camp or any of the clinics that we do. Yeah, man, those opportunities definitely weren't around. And the structure, like even when these kids aren't at these events, they now have the structure to work on their own. And not even just the kids, the adults as well. Typically the summer camp has a pretty good mix, pretty evenly distributed in age-wise, but this one was much younger than the previous 2 years. But players of all ages benefit, and they take these concepts back home, and they're able to put structure into their practices and really benefit that way as well.
Yeah, and that's sort of like the focus of G2, and why we started that was to break away from the random clinics, to where you're just traveling around, you do a clinic, and then you never see those people, and more just seeing the same people and seeing progress and grooming them, which the summer camp kind of does that, because you're getting a lot of repeat people coming back. When they come to the Florida event combine, you're seeing the same people again. So you're seeing progress there. But that's kind of the idea behind G2, is to train people and really help them rise to the top.
Yeah, it was super cool to see all the kids, like, it's crazy times, and they're all like supporting. Everyone's wearing their mask, everyone's keeping distance, everyone's playing paintball and having fun. And like you said, Marcelo, some of those kids are going to be superstars someday. And
it's unbelievable, dude.
I know. And
unreal, some of them.
I haven't seen anything like what we have going on right now since I was a kid. I feel like when I was a kid, there were more kids out there playing ball in my age group. It wasn't a ton, but there were, definitely a lot denser, like myself, Alex Goldman, yourself, Dalton. We had a lot of players that came up as kids at that time, and I see that happening again, which is really, really cool. Huge shout out to the kids out there, man. Keep pushing hard and working hard. That's what it's all about, man. We need you guys. We need you guys for the future. So let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the future's bright, dude. I can't wait to see how these kids continue to progress. I love getting to coach them. The event's so fun. We teach them all weekend, and then we end with a little summer camp tournament. That's been fun. Shout out, just won my third year in a row, coach. So, that was pretty tight. Damn. But
and that's all good. Now I know who to assign the reins to when I step out. It'll be 5-time summer camp champion coach.
Yeah. Dude, you're never stepping out, baby.
Hey, Rusty, I don't plan on retiring from the game in 2 years.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I'm going to be 5-time summer camp champ in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if you'll win all of them by then. So it could be
Yeah.
10 years and you got 5. So I
No,
just threw it out there.
that was my point. In 2 years, I'm going to be 5-time. I'm going undefeated in this bad boy. You know, that's funny though, Rusty, because I've been thinking about it. Because obviously, I do quite a bit of coaching, especially in recent years. I've got a team out of New York that I coach on a full-time basis. The summer camp stuff, and obviously I've done clinics for a long time, but coaching is a whole nother animal, and I love it. I really do. I really enjoy the coaching aspect of the game. But I have thought, I don't think that I want to be a professional coach ever. You know, I really like I really like the process of taking the younger kids and kind of grooming them and the younger divisional players. You know what I mean? I'm not so sure I would want to, or that I would even be that good at being
to deal with us, to deal with all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, because even sometimes I think about missing the development side of it and then really developing players to how you want it.
Yeah.
Whereas like right now, like we have Dynasty, we have great talent, great players, tons of experience, tons of IQ, but I didn't build that.
Sure.
And I didn't create that in how I wanted it. It just, we put it together how we wanted it.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So there is a difference between developing your own players and really having them believe in your system and your way versus, you know, gathering the most talented and experienced players you can and putting a team together that way. So I could see that as, you know, enjoying that process of developing players and seeing them go on to like do stuff, and maybe they leave your team, but you get them on a team, and that's sort of a success point too, is getting them places.
Marcelo's like a young Mike Hinman out here, you know, just building champions, or like a young Bob Long, you know what I'm saying? Just out here getting it.
That's funny. I was gonna say, much like what Mike Hinman did. Obviously, he had a professional career as well, but I think his coaching as a divisional coach is really where he thrived. I think that was, you know, what he'll be remembered for. You know, so many kids that he groomed into top level pros.
Dude, Hinge stunted on the field. I've seen that man just go beast mode. He's an animal out there.
Yeah,
for sure. I've known Mike forever. I've known since like 1998. We were playing in like Great Western Series tournaments. Yeah. I played a random tournament with them called Swingers.
Nice.
At Velocity.
Sounds like a great one.
Yeah, we were on the Swingers together. We played at Velocity in the woods, so we go way back.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out. Might I just say, huge shout out to your background right now for all my YouTubers. Get on YouTube, check us out, play the game. It's me shooting the doo-doo brown gun in homage to Rocky Cagnoni. You know, just throwing it up. Love it.
Yeah, what is that? That's from 2016?
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah, that was a 16 jersey, I believe. It wasn't Vegas because you had that like bleached hair, but somewhere in that season.
Well, he's wearing a beanie right there.
Oh yeah, no. It
that's
can't be 16. Because it has to be Eclipse, so it's got to be 15.
15, yeah, right around there. Yep. Man, I'm so glad to be shooting Field 1. Love Field 1, dude. Shooting great.
We shot Eclipse in 16. That's definitely a 16 jersey.
Is it?
Yeah, 2017.
Oh, Vegas. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so that is 16. Yeah, because we had the just block Dynasty on the front.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're tight.
I think that's the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes, is that the Great Lakes in the background there?
Yeah, that's dude, that tournament. Those are fun, man. I miss playing paintball. This has been brutal. We got to get back out there.
I know, man.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Hey, Rusty, we want to dive into a little bit of your backstory and just get your roots, the grassroots of Rusty Glaze, and how you got your beginnings in paintball, and some, you know, just some cool stories of how you fell in love with the game.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that the other day because I was writing up content for G2, and I was thinking about like my own personal journey into the pro division and like how that went. Yeah. And so I started playing in 1998. It actually is kind of a funny story. So my buddy was a janitor at a high school all summer, and they paid him with a paintball gun. They gave him like some reason he had like a whole paintball gun set up, and that's what he got paid for like janitor work. I don't know how he worked it out. So then he had this gun.
I want to get paid in paintball. That's amazing. Yeah. It's like Trident layers. They're like, I want to get paid in Trident layers, you know?
Yeah. It was random. I was like, why didn't they just give you money? But somehow he had this, and it wasn't brand new stuff. It was like someone gave him a setup.
Dude, that's awesome.
So he was like helping someone out or something. And so anyways, he had this paintball gun, and we're like, okay, none of the rest of us have guns, but what can we do with this thing? So let's shoot cars. So
Oh no, no.
That was you guys.
Oh man.
I know you guys.
So we set up this whole. So I set up this whole strategic method where cars we're on this kind of like deserted road. All the cars going on our
There
side
we
of the
go.
road, we would like throw out paintballs and hit the windshield.
How old?
And he would
How old were you?
17 or 18. I think 18
There we
at
go.
the time. And then
Old enough to get charged as an adult.
we didn't have guns, so we were throwing them, trying to land them on the windshield. We were in the dark,
Yeah.
it was at night, we're in the bushes, and he would
Yeah.
just shoot it like once.
Yeah.
Any cars that were coming back the other way, we assumed that we probably already shot. So our tactic was to only hit cars going one way. Anyone
Oh,
coming
man.
back, we would hide from because we're assuming we blasted them and they're coming back to get us.
Just a PTG. A quick PTG note: we do not condone this activity on PTG.
What ended that activity was actually a truck stopped, and then he turned and just drove off into the off-roading.
Oh my god!
We were all running through the bushes, and this truck's just rolling. So we're like, okay, let's not do this anymore.
Whoa! Trying to get
he
you.
was charging. Yeah, he was coming. He was mad.
Oh my god!
So,
dude.
But how that led us to play paintball was we were actually going to the paintball field at Camp Pendleton to pick up paintballs. Like we needed ammo.
Yeah.
So we were going there. We were walking around the field, picking up paintballs, and that's like we're like looking around. We're like, dude, this looks fun as hell. Like, let's get some gear and let's come out here and play. Let's rent equipment. So that's how I ended up going to play paintball with my buddy. My buddy was actually.
This explains everything. Okay.
He was. So we go play at Camp Pendleton, and then my buddy Josh Hill was actually the first person I've ever seen cheat.
Josh Hill, I know Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different Josh. Different one. Same name. I always wanted to get him a jersey from that guy.
Yeah,
So
from the Ironman.
Yeah. So we crawl up this trench in the middle of the field, and we get like behind enemy territory. And I tell him, dude, I think we're pretty far. Like, why don't you look up and see if we can shoot anyone? So he just goes up over the trench. He gets shot in the face. Boom. And he comes down. He goes, and just clears it off. And I'm like, dude, we're going to get kicked out of this. Like, I thought we were going to get removed from the facility. I was like,
the bad boys of
yeah, I was like, oh geez, dude.
The bad boys of paintball right here, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, if he kept playing, he probably would have been a savage because that was our first day out. He's already wiped Chicago.
Dude, that's legendary. Wow, so that's how you got your start in paintball. That is so cool, man.
Yeah.
You guys were just going and rummaging for paintballs to have some fun and be wild boys.
Yeah. I mean, we were skateboarders. That's all we did. So that paintball was kind of like a ruckus of like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like throw paintballs at we were throwing them at other buddies' cars at high school.
Dude,
and like tagging each other.
I did that one time. Worst decision of my life. I was driving and I was like, oh, I got a paintball here. I'll just throw it out the window. Bad decision, because this person took me on a high-speed chase for like 15 minutes chasing me down, dude. It was the worst ever.
People don't like that.
No, they didn't. No, it was the worst.
They probably think that it's like real paint too. It's gonna ruin their car. You know?
They turn on the windshield wipers. The whole thing's going everywhere.
I was like 16 or 17 years old, driving out to extreme paintball. It's just dairies everywhere and farms, and like I was like, this is a great idea, right? I'm going to throw this paintball out of the window, being a kid, and it was not a good idea. It was like the worst ever. So do not do that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides potentially causing a car accident, everything else about it's a bad idea as well.
Yeah. I think that's accurate for sure. Absolutely.
We all did stuff when we were kids. That's funny.
I know. Bad stuff.
Bad.
So my first day, being honest, partway through the day, I was like, I don't even know if I've shot anyone. I'm like shooting my gun at stuff, at people. I see people going out. I have no idea if I've even hit anyone. I'm like, dude, I don't know. But I told my buddy, I go, listen, man, I got to charge up on one of these guys because I need to see like my paintballs specifically hitting a guy.
Yeah.
So then I like charged to the middle of the field, came around, just shot a guy 3 times. I was like, I know I shot that guy. That was like a hook for me. I was like, okay, this is pretty sweet. Like,
oh yeah,
this game's super fun. Like once I saw my paint hitting a guy, I confirmed. I'm like, this is awesome.
And then you like spread the seam and you read the field and you went and bunkered him, which is like, that takes practice to learn how to do all that in paintball. So it's addictive once you start reading the field and playing the game. It's fun, man.
Yeah, no doubt. And then, then you just go down to like, let's get equipment. Let's start buying stuff. My brother was into it too, so we were both playing together.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you get Gator into paintball then?
Was he
we
throwing
were both,
paintballs?
yeah. He was part of the car throwing shenanigans. So we both went and played at the same time.
I mean, for those that don't know, I mean, Rusty, honestly, so many of our listeners are kind of newer players. We have a good base of old school people too, but Rusty and his brother Gator were absolute legends, and
legends.
It's really like some of the only pair of brothers that played the game. You know, you've got the Yakimek brothers too, but I feel like you and Gator were way more iconic. You know, you guys set fashion trends. You guys have really done it all in the sport. You guys won pretty much everything there is to win, and you're continuing to build on top of that legacy as a coach. But the Glaze brothers, man, you guys are awesome. You guys have always been just total assassins.
Yeah. You're like a DJ Khaled song, just winning, dude, all the time.
I appreciate it. I feel like we were also like, we kind of had a yin and yang style. I was kind of like clean cut, all American, and he was like the dirty rocker.
Yeah, totally.
So we
you
kind
guys
of
have the best
associated
style.
with different groups. He kind of like that original HK crowd was sort of his fan base.
Yeah,
right.
Like all those kids that were into that like lifestyle and
ag,
grunge,
ag,
all the ag stuff. He had the double straps.
Yeah,
he like came up with stuff. You know, he was a lot more original than me for sure.
Dude, Gator is untouchable. He's in his own category when it comes to style. I don't know if there'll ever be another Gator, you know, like there's kids that try too hard, but Gator was just naturally with it. You know, it's just like, it was in his blood. And both you dudes had the best style in the game. You would always I would see all the infamous dudes tagging up their stuff, you know, with the ink and the markers on the yellow for the old school jerseys, like the Abyss and all these different trends that you guys started a lot of cool stuff in paintball. And a lot of the heritage in paintball of style came from like dudes like you guys, you know.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he did the double straps. He did the little neon flip up that was like attached to his headband. He did a like red flag hanging off his harness.
Hold on, the tail feather
stencil.
The tail feather became one of the most popular things in paintball for a pretty decent era.
Yeah.
Tall tees. We actually got that from the movie Tombstone. All the cowboys, the like criminal cowboy guys, they all wore a red sash.
Damn.
So that was the idea, of like having this like red sash, and we had a bunch of them. You just tie them onto your harness and leave them hanging there or whatever.
I didn't even know that Gator was the one that started that. That's crazy. I mean, I used to wear one of those. They also the handkerchief tied around the neck kind of thing too. I feel like that
bandana around the neck. Yeah, he did that.
Untouchable.
And then he also
untouchable.
Not a lot of people know, but he had a hoodie that the neck was cut low, so you could wear it underneath his jersey as a base layer.
Yeah, as a bounce vest.
Dude, savagery.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Add a little more deflection to his arsenal, but yeah, he had a lot of cool stuff that he did. So
yeah, we miss Gator, man.
And the glasses, of course. The glasses was a huge thing.
Yeah, totally, it was.
It was the whole package, dude. He's the package deal, everything. Yeah, the original. Like he started what is the trendy styles of paintball today, and a lot of different movements with that stuff.
Yeah, and how funny too. I don't even know how many tournaments you've won as the coach of Dynasty, Rusty, but it's a lot. And then, one event that you miss, Gator just kind of fills in for you. We win that one too. It's like just seamless Glaze brother success.
The magic, for sure.
The magic,
he won't come back. He's smart. He's smart.
Oh,
he won't come back because he's at 100% win factor now. So
he doesn't play with.
If
he
comes
numbers.
back and doesn't win, then he's at 50%. It's a huge drop, 50% if you don't win the next event. So
yeah,
for sure.
It was nice. He won his first tournament with Dynasty in Vegas, and that's where I won the first one with Marcelo. You were on the team. That was my first coaching event, was Vegas. So it was cool to see him jump in Vegas and win his first tournament in Vegas.
I won mine. How cool is that? Yeah,
so that was kind of cool.
Well, it was written in the stars on that one. We didn't even know. That's crazy. Dude. So, Rusty, you've obviously been in the game for a long time and played at the highest level, coaching Dynasty, which we're a so-so team. We're doing all right, and we gotta make some big moves to make sure that we're in finals and taking trophies home, the big gold ones. But what effect has paintball had on your life, and not just playing paintball, but just being in the game, coaching, all of it is it's been a tremendous experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like, paintball has provided almost everything for me. My passion was obviously playing, and I was very wrapped up in that, and sacrificing whatever it was, whatever got in the way. I'm going to tournaments, I'm going to practices. Before I got married, that was definitely like no question. Whatever's on the books for practice, tournaments, like those are in stone. And then, as I got married and had kids, now it's like a balance between, my family and making sure Jessica's good with everything that's going on. And, all my work has always been, I've worked in the paintball industry for various companies. So I was able to like, really, it feels like I've been on a vacation my entire time because played paintball professionally and then I worked in paintball professionally. And it's like, if you're doing what you passionately like, you're not really working, you're just involved with what you enjoy doing. So for me, I've been lucky because there's other people that go off and their work is their work and they do something completely disconnected from their passions. Then they come and they do their hobbies and they do their stuff on the weekends. I'm able to be involved in paintball the entire time. So for me, I've been blessed the entire time through my entire 20 years of doing this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean,
So
you have
actually, paintball even provided my my wife. I met Jess at a paintball tournament. So really, it's given me everything.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So go ahead, Marsh.
Yeah, no. I don't know if I knew that you met Jess at a paintball tournament. That's crazy. That's super cool. But you've done so much both on and off the field, and you're right. Like you have done so much on the business side of things, which is something Tyler and I always love to talk about in paintball, because as a professional paintball athlete, you have to find ways to make ends meet. I remember you had the Golden State Paintball Shop. You've done so many different things, and we're definitely going to dive into that a little deeper in a bit. But what got you into the tournament side of things? Like, how'd you make your way to the professional division?
So we were playing at Pendleton where we started playing, and we just got so good on the like recreational fields that like some tournament guys came up and they're like, "Hey, we're having a tryout for a team," and we never even heard of team. We're like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "We're gonna have a tryout for a team called Sitting Ducks," and we're like, "Okay, like whatever."
Yeah, I remember the Sitting
We're like
Ducks.
crushing walk-ons. We know every angle on every field to go and like win the game. So we're like, "All right, let's go try tournament paintball and see what that's all about." So we go to this tryout, and me and my brother just working people. Like we played together, and we're just same old, same old. Like these are just like the walk-ons. We're just crushing these people up, and we're like, I think we have a pretty good chance of making this team for sure because we're all these other people that are out here, we're working them. So I was like, dude, you don't know until you're at a tryout. You don't know you're going to make the team or not. But I'm like, dude, we're definitely going to make this team. And then we get on the team, and we go to our first tournament in Las Vegas. We're playing in the Great Western Series. We crush it through prelims, and our buddy Chris Van Meter was with us too. So we had guys we already played with. So we were coming over as sort of a squad, and we make it to Sunday. We crush prelims, make it to Sunday, and then we're like, all right, what's the move? Like, what's the plan? Like, back then there wasn't hardcore team meetings, but you kind of like, okay, what's the plan for tomorrow? And these guys are like, they're a club team, so they had like 40 people on the team. They're like, we don't know, we never made Sunday. And we're like, I mean, okay, well, I guess this is new ground, but we came here to freaking pound on people. So that was the first thing I played on. Their whole system was like about honor and playing the game with respect, and they were a fun team. And we came on with like a serious note, like we're coming after these wins. So we kind of brought a different flair to that group. So, but that was our first year. We played with Sitting Ducks in 1999.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You got to have that mentality.
Like
that's how you win.
Yeah, during that year, the first pro players I ever saw, there was a big practice at Pendleton for some reason, and it was Avalanche playing the Ironmen. And we were coming back from I think we were just there playing walk-ons. We weren't at a 5-man practice. We were walking up the hill from one of the fields, and we look over and we see these guys yelling and screaming, and the whole element was totally different. You could tell this wasn't like another set of private party or walk-ons. You're like, dude, what are these guys doing? And then I see Chris Lasoya, because the long hair. He runs up this little mountain, comes over, and just shoots the hell out of Davey Williamson. And then we're like, dude, that was like insane. And then they're just yelling at each other. Davey's like, you effing prick, you this, that. Why'd you have to do that? And Chris is like, shut the hell up. And then we're like, dude, these guys are intense. And then Chris comes off the field and he's like the nicest guy. And we're like, dude, what kind of gun is that? And he's like, oh, it's an Angel. It's a new gun that just came out. And we're like, okay, cool. And he's like, here, like, check it out. And he hands me the Angel. And like, I'm just shooting it like a building or whatever. I'm like, dude, this thing is sick. Cause we just had like mechanical guns. It's like, holy crap, check out this new gun. And he lets us shoot his gun. 2 years later, I'm playing on Avalanche with him, which is crazy.
Whoa.
No.
Like that was one of the first pros I met. And then that was a superstar team. And 2 years later, I'm playing on the team with them. So it was that was one of the first guys I met.
Those times were different too. That was like nostalgia.
Yeah, the first person to actually invite me to play like on a professional team was Davey Williamson, who ended up later down the line being my roommate for 6 years. And you just don't know where these connections, you know, that's why clinics are so important. You make these connections with people. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I made this connection with Davey and he invited me to come. This was like 2000, right after my rookie year of just playing rookie paintball, the Ironman, he's like, hey, you should come out and play, you know, practice with the Ironman and try and get on the team. And I'm like, practice with the Ironman, dude. Me and my brother were like, what? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll come to a practice or something. And then I'd met Steve Rabikoff because I worked with him. And then he floated the idea, hey, come and practice when Avalanche is in town and come to some practices. And I was like, okay, like these people were like scouting me out. But I was like, honestly, that's cool and all, but I don't want to go get on a pro team and be like riding the bench at number 14. So if I played 1 year in tournaments and I play another year or two in tournaments with my brother, that's not going to hurt me. I'm actually going to be better and more equipped to get on the team and not get on and get cut. So I just sort of, if they had practice and invited me, I'd go play at it, but I wasn't serious about at that point getting on the roster because I didn't want to be the extra. You know, back then your roster 10-mans or 14 players. So you get on too early and you're number 14 for sure. And they weed you in slowly. So I figured why not just play with my brother, play local tournaments, try and win tournaments, gain experience, you know, I need to be winning in divisionals before I jump up to the pro division and not having much experience. So, but throughout like that period, I actually got offers from a lot of teams. I ended up going with Avalanche, obviously, very close to getting on the Ironman. I went up to a practice with the Ironman in Modesto at Extreme.
Yeah.
I drove up with them, drove up with Maddie. It was a cool road trip and I had a great tryout with them. Like my practice went good. I won a 7-on-3 and just shot all 7 guys. So like the tryout went stellar, but then they were like pressure me to get on the team. And I was like, dude, I'm going to play with these guys. Oliver was on the team and he was an up and coming superstar. I was like, it seems like a good place to be. They're all good dudes. I get back to work and Rab's like, don't go play with those guys. Come to an Avalanche practice. You went to their practice. Now come to our practice. Give us the same, at least fair shake. After that, you decide what team you want to play with. So I was like, okay. So Avalanche flew me up to Seattle. I went to Seattle to play, I think it was a Naughty Dogs is who we were playing. And Greg Pauly actually came to the same tryout. So he was there too. And had a good day with them, liked the guys. I liked Brian Fowle. I sort of linked up with guys. I liked Travis a lot. I already knew him. Rab obviously knew. I liked Todd Martinez. You know, he was a cool dude. There was just a lot of cool people on Avalanche. And they sort of had this big stigma. Like they were like heavily sponsored. They were getting free stuff. They get all kinds of gear. And like they got a lot of sponsors and a lot of people. They were a highlight. They were a big superstar team. So that was kind of a draw too. So I went to this guy Barry. I don't know if you guys remember Barry from Borderlands.
Yeah, from Navarone, dude. Yeah, man. Barry was the man. That was the first field that I started playing at was Borderland, and so my dad and Barry were good friends. Yeah.
I figured you would know him. I was delivering paint down to a store, and I told him the situation. I was like, both teams want me to play on the team. I got to make a decision. So what do you think? He's like, well, if you play on Ironman and you get cut from the Ironman, you just go down. If you play on Avalanche and get cut from Avalanche, you can go to any team you want. Like you kind of have something that people are going to be like, well, come play for us or whatever. So that's the way he viewed it, was like, these are the tiers. And at that time, Ironman were still a big dominant team, but they still they provided their own gun. They weren't like getting equipment the same way. And then I got on a phone call with Oliver and I was like, hey man, like, what do you think? Like, come play with you guys. What are your thoughts? You know, because he's obviously like going to be a leader and a rising star on that team. So I'm like, I need to check in with this guy. Does he want me on the team? That's like number one. Is he going to want me on the team? Is that going to work? So I call him up. I talk to him, and he's like, in the whole conversation, he was just talking about how much stuff Avalanche gives you. You get 2 guns, all the players. So I was getting the drift. Like, I think this guy might go to Avalanche. So I was like, well, if he's going to leave the Ironman, and later I found out that was an offer he was getting. He was almost about to go to Avalanche, and then he ended up going to Dynasty after that year. But he was going to go to Avalanche. The deal was almost done, but he drifted me to Avalanche, and I ended up going to Avalanche, and that's where he was almost going to go. So that was an interesting conversation to have with him. Was this is the leader in the future of the Ironman? He's telling me to go this way. So that was also part of the decision. So I was like,
whoa,
okay, I guess I'll play with Avalanche. So
breaking news.
That's how
Dude,
I ended up there.
Dude.
So much Oliver Lang
all these
breaking news here
all
on Play the Game podcast.
There's always these little like things that make these weird connections, you know, from back in the day.
Well,
we didn't end up liking each other very much after that. Yeah, I mean, I ended up on Avalanche. He ended up on Dynasty. We ended up Infamous, Dynasty. We hated each other. We had like a bit of a rival. When I went to Excessive, that was the big rival of Dynasty. I kind of ended up on the rival group to Dynasty most of my career. So it was like, you know, we butted heads at tournaments. You know, I'm out there and, you know, I'm going to be an alpha. I'm going to puff my chest. I'm going to say stuff on the sidelines, or, you know, you get involved in the match. You know, you get chippy. So we were always like chippy to each other, and he's one of the best to do it. So I'm going to go after that guy. I don't care. You know, you got to challenge people.
How important do you think that type of, you know, for lack of a better term, that type of fuck you mentality is in paintball for a paintball player?
I would say that it's once you reach a certain level, it's the only factor that matters. If you have good agility, you have good skills, you have good strategy, like you understand the game, mindset is the fourth factor that you gotta own. And that's huge in all sports. You can see it in basketball when a guy gets beat mentally and he's out of the game, or if he's fired up, he's in the flow, he's in the rhythm. Like you can see it. Same with paintball. When a guy's in the zone is like, I guess the common term. You can see when a guy's in the zone, he's feeling it, he's in the game. That's just all mindset.
Yeah.
You know, the snap shooting, the pop-ups, that's all just trained mechanics and skills. Knowing where to go in like 2-on-1s and understanding like the actual game, that's tactics, strategy. The mindset part is what sets you apart, especially when you're on a level where everyone is that good on all the other factors. You know, everyone's in shape, everyone's good. It's your mindset. So I feel like having that motivation, that burning, I don't care who we play. You're not like, oh, we play these guys. Like you're like, oh, cool, I'm gonna knock these guys out of the tournament. Like having that like mindset where you're just, you know, feeling good, and if you have it and the next guy has it, and if you're lacking a little and you look at the next guy and he has it, you pick that up too. You're like, he's feeling confident. So you gotta like learn to project that. You know, it's like the lighting of one match could burn down a forest. So you got to have that fire to be lighting up the other teammates. You know, you can't just depend on someone else to be up. You got to, you know, Tyler, you bring that a lot. You bring that high energy, and that, you know, may not bring people to your level, but you're lifting them, you know, little by little. So
dude, it's a party.
Huge.
Paintball party. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And it feels good. It feels good when you find that. It feels good when you find that mindset. And you can think back, you know, it's real. It's not like you just show up and snap your fingers and it's like you build it. But like when you really get in that zone, man, it feels good. And you're just shooting people, paint's hitting people. Like you're just locked in. All the training you've done is coming together, and then you're adding your mindset to it. That feels that's addicting, and that feels good when that happens. For sure.
Dude, that's the goal that we're all trying to attain right there, man. That's the feeling. Those are the vibes that we're trying to catch, the big wins and those, you know, having your shots connect, like you said, the communication when the whole flow of the game is going, it really has a profound effect on me as a person. Like it's life-changing stuff when everything's clicking, and even when everything's falling apart too. You got to embrace it all and learn from it all. But it's a really spectacular experience playing paintball, especially with all you guys at the highest level.
And I feel like
Jason,
when you're not locked in, when you're when you're not locked in, everything moves really fast. So like when I jump in games right now, because I'm not training and actually playing, things are going fast. People are moving fast. Things like when I come out, like paintballs seem like they have faster velocity than they used to. Like when you're
Yeah.
training and you're really into it, things move a lot. They move a lot slower. You're a lot more relaxed. You're thinking. You're listening. You're moving. You're making good decisions. You're communicating. Like once you really reach those peaks and your mindset's right, it feels really fun to play, and you feel like things come together easier, when you're locked in like that. So, I mean, that's what you really want to achieve as a player is bringing all four factors to the table, for sure.
Dude, that's powerful. Absolutely. That's powerful stuff, man.
100%. No, mindset in anything you do, I think, is always so incredibly important. I asked just simply because I figured I knew what your answer would be, but it's, that's another thing that I see quite frequently with all the clinics we do is there's some players that have all the skill, but not quite the right mindset. And it's like, man, it's going to be really tough for you to make it. And then there's players that don't have the skill yet, but you could just tell that they have some kind of dog mentality that they're not going to give up and they're going to just continue to try to break down that door. That's the person that I want on my team. That's the person that I feel like I would rather invest in, It's interesting too, because it's hard to teach. I don't even know if you can teach that type of mindset. It's just something that some people innately have inside of them that's not going to allow them to be stopped, and they might not have the answers, but they're going to do whatever it takes to figure out the answers.
You can definitely try hard to teach it. And I do very much with my kids.
Yeah.
Everyone here in my house, it's not about participation. Like losing sucks. Winning is the results of your hard work is what we talk. Winning's fun, but like when we do drills and we practice with even soccer with my kids and we go there and dominate, that feels good. When we go there and we get worked, that doesn't feel good. And I like my kids to know the difference. It's not like we go and kick the ball around and that was just a fun day of soccer. Like I like instilling that it's a competition and that you should try and win the competition and be the best out there. So I mean, I definitely start early with that. If you ask any of my kids, if you say if you're not first, they'll finish the sentence. Then you're last. So they kind of know that around here. It's kind of a joke, from Talladega Nights. But yeah, they all say it at my house for sure.
Well, that's a really good point, Rusty. I think you could definitely teach it as a parent. I guess I was referring more to as like a coach. If you take somebody who's already been raised, when you're a kid, your mind, you only know what you know. So, and I actually admire the way you parent your kids. You do an amazing job, and it's because, you're a good coach, right? And so that's literally what you do. You understand the psychology of how people, work, and so. Your kids coaching, it kind of is, very similar. The way you treat Dynasty, it's like your family, you got a bunch of kids and personalities that you're trying to mold and shape. And the younger you get somebody to do that with, obviously, the more influential you're going to be. I think for sure, young kids, so parents out there, if you have some kids, treat them the right way young, show them the right ways to approach things.
Rusty's got them, dude. They have like a full-on construction site going on right now. They're working on their house, and the kids are clocked in, putting in work, and they're having fun too. It's pretty awesome.
I love
that. Jessica's a bit like she just follows Instagram influencers who are doing like all kinds of DIY projects around the house. So I literally work all day, and then I come up and we're like painting, stapling, cutting wood. We're doing some sort of project. She's made a lot of great stuff around the house so far. So she's been killing it on that.
I do want to say, let's get Jessica to 10,000 followers. She's almost there. Go to Instagram and follow her at Jessica Glaze. You can also see Rusty and the fam doing hard work over there. Doing like a bunch of DIY, do it yourself, home repairs, and having fun. And let's get her to 10K.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Actually, everybody make sure you do that because I love following Jess's page. She always has it's funny. You guys are actually really similar in that aspect. Like the way you guys explain things and break things down is kind of uniquely relatable to anybody. And so I like following Jess's page. She always has really cool insights to whether it's like cheap ways to do stuff, but it looks really good. You guys do so many like nifty little bargain type things. So Jessica Glaze, what's she at right now? Let's see how many followers she have.
She has
I'm curious. I want to see if the show has any weight.
I checked on it. It's at like 9,400. So Yeah, we can do it, man. We can get her to 10K. Everybody
Let's
go out
do it.
there, follow
Oh,
Jessica
yeah.
Glaze.
9,377 followers. So
Yeah.
in a couple days, we're going to check again. Let's see. Let's go. 10K.
Yeah,
That's
boost
right.
her up. If you want to see stuff that I'm doing,
Yeah.
like she's filming and doing stuff.
Exactly.
So.
Totally.
That's right. Dude, you guys are clocked in.
Crafty.
Dude, I love it. It's actually like that stuff's not easy, and you guys make it look easy. I know you got like sometimes the cut doesn't go right, or you got to use a little extra caulk. What did she call it?
Yeah, cock.
No, she was misspelling it on her Instagram,
nice.
and people were giving her a hard time about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's the mastermind. I'm just like this. I'm like the sous chef. I come up, she's like, you have to do this hard labor and this hard labor. Whatever's technical or labor wise, I do parts of that.
Yeah,
but I don't like have any vision for anything in my house. She's like, "What do you think of this?" I'm like, "Awesome." "What do you think of this color?" I'm like, "I think she likes it." Awesome.
Yeah, that's smart husband right there. Just yes, ma'am.
I love it.
She's got it. I mean, but I trust her. It all comes out good. If I second guess, I'm like, I don't know about that green paint or whatever. Then I end up regretting it because she paints it and it looks good. I'm like, well, I would not have guessed that was going to turn out that way. Yeah. So I just don't have an eye for that.
Dude, she's killing it. Shout out to Jess.
That's funny. So
now I just got my rosters, Marcelo, for I'm coaching Carter in basketball in the next coming weeks.
There we go.
Nice.
So
there we go.
Yeah, that'll be my first. It's not her first basketball, but my first time coaching it. So I got my roster in, and now I'm also coaching Eli, who's 3. He's going into soccer. So
nice.
Someone else was coaching the team, and I was like, I don't know if I like someone else coaching him because I want to make sure they're not like spaceship dinosaurs. Like I want to instill the winning and the going. So I sort of like slid in as like, hey, I can coach the whole thing. I've already coached before. And then they're like, cool, you could coach. So then I took over his team too.
Rusty, we may have lost you for a second.
So now, he's going to be an assassin for sure.
Oh, sorry, Rusty, we lost you for a second. For our YouTubers, there might be a lag. I know when we upload the audio, the podcast, it should be perfect because everything records locally. So we just personally didn't hear what you just said as far as dinosaurs and
I took over. Did you get the? Oh yeah. So I took over because like some of these soccer coaches will be like, it's all about fun and you take the ball and put it in the spaceship, whatever. I don't do that.
Right.
I'm like, these are you need to kick, keep your foot on the ball, kick the ball, score. It's all about scoring.
Yeah.
And so that's the drive is like take this ball, score again.
Love
and
that.
If we make 18 points, then that's good. So
speaking of spaceships, dude, sorry again. Sorry for the viewers. We're having major lag here, but speaking of spaceships, what's going on with all this spaceship activity? The Pentagon's coming out that there's stuff that is technology that is not of this world. You've been keeping up with that? You've been keeping up with that, Rusty?
No, I have not. But can we get some for the on-field for our guns?
Yes.
Yeah, really.
I really help us out with some boosted loaders and hoppers and guns.
Dude, don't worry about those guys. Those guys are.
There was so much. There was
so much, Tyler. Just because you're one of them, buddy.
There was so much to follow. There were so many flavors of like conspiracies and stuff to like dive into. It was like I dabble in it a little bit here, but you could get sucked into all that.
Yeah.
So I'll wait for it to
sure.
when we roster one on the team. Then I'll be like, all right, this is real.
Rusty, what are you talking about, dude? You're talking to one of them right now.
He's gonna. Well, if he recruits another guy to play on the other side of the field, I'm all for it. We're not going to discriminate. If a guy wants to come from another planet and play on Dynasty, that's okay with me.
Dude, intergalactic paintball. That's what we're all about, man. Hey, it's all about paintball. All love. Yeah, that's right. Team Universe. Heck yeah.
So Rusty, we're going off.
We're international. We got a Mexican, so.
Yeah, Arturo. Shout out to Artie.
Yeah, Artie. He's the best,
culture.
dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Huge shout out to Arturo. And Ryan, he's from some distant planet as well. I'm not sure where he's from, but he's interstellar as well. So we got him.
He's
Yeah.
from a planet where you can eat as much food as you want and never gain an ounce, and your metabolism
Yeah.
stays high forever, even when you're turning 40, and still have
Yeah.
abs without having to work out. That's the planet
Yeah.
he's from.
Yeah,
Surfing. The surfing
crazy.
planet.
I don't want to go there. That'd be a hard planet to compete with.
That's right, dude. Yeah, that surfing planet is shredded for sure. Yeah, and man, Ryan's a specimen. Huge shout out to Ryan.
Absolutely. He did finally lose his first foot race at the BKI summer camp.
Saw that.
To this kid. He's quick. Kid is
Bound
quick.
to happen.
Bound to happen, dude.
He gets older every day. So someone's gonna eventually a gap spreads long enough that someone's gonna be younger, fitter, faster, and beat him. So it's bound to happen.
That's right.
But the race was still. I watched the race. It was still close. And he's almost 40.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Ryan's an absolute crusher. He has the fountain of youth in his backyard. I'm convinced of it.
But you do not want to run out of that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's got to preserve.
Yeah.
Preserve his water.
Yep. So,
dude.
Rusty, we got off on a little bit on coaching, but let's dive back in as to like how your career went from competing on top level teams, Excessive, and then Infamous. That was actually around when we met. We played on Infamous together. This is back in like 2010, 2011, those years. And I feel like you then went and played with Dynasty. Then you ended up coaching Dynasty. But I actually really feel like you have always had a thing for coaching. And I remember one event specifically with Infamous in Chicago when you kind of sat yourself and took over a little bit of a player coach role with Todd. And I remember you getting us all together in the huddle before the finals and gave us a really motivational speech that, in my opinion, it instilled a philosophy for that event that we then went on and won the event. We beat Damage in the finals. I don't know if you remember all that, but how did that transition go
2010.
for you? Yeah, 2010.
So that was right. I don't know. I woke up that morning and we had lost to Aftermath. They beat us pretty convincingly in the tournament, in the prelims.
Yeah, right.
And I think we even lost to Impact. We weren't dominating in the prelims, but it was like our first draw was Aftermath. And I was like, I just woke up that morning and I just said, not today. Like, we're not going to lose to these guys today. Not today. And I just kept saying, not today. And that was like what I kept saying to people is like, be right now, and I was saying, not today. Just focus on where we're at and we're just going to win this tournament. And then we beat Aftermath handily. Like, we had no problem with them. Then we played Impact and we beat them handily. So it was like, those are the two teams that we lost to and we got to revenge ourselves and then move towards Damage in the finals. But I was sitting with John Richardson. It was at Chicago. It was at Badlands. And we were sitting under a tree that we had played like Hyperball 10-man tournaments on like a decade before that.
Yeah.
So it was like, we're sitting under this ancient tree. And I was like, dude, and I've been to a lot of finals with John and we played in a lot of tournaments together. And we were just sitting there, I go, hey man, finals are coming up. We got to get all the guys locked in. We got to lead these younger guys to this win because we don't know how many of these opportunities we're going to have. Like, we're on the back nine of our play time. We need to really get these guys geared up and then, lead this thing to the finals and take this win, because we can't just take second because we don't know if we're going to be back in the finals. Everything's so, it's so precious, you don't have that opportunity every single time. It's not guaranteed. So, and all the work you put in to get to the finals is so much. So let's just put this over the top. And that was sort of a side conversation we had. And, all the bonding through we were washing all of our pants in the river. Everything was horrible. The whole tournament was horrible. The whole thing was muddy. Everything was like pallets and mud. We had mud on our face, mud on our bodies. The mud was sticking to us. We were washing it within the water that had pulled up. We had our stuff hanging on fences. Like, it wasn't a fun, it wasn't an ideal day of paintball. It wasn't like, cool, let's go. You never like, let's go roll around in the mud and then wash our stuff in the creek. But it was like, we were all together doing it. We were bonding. Everything was feeling like it was going the right direction. And I just was like, to John, I was like, let's just keep that moving with the guys and, and avoid yelling at each other. And I sort of shielded, like, I was having this, I was like, I decided, let me just have side conversations with guys. So when guys are coming off, I'm going to them, getting them boosted, adjusted, try this, do that. And I felt like that was sort of an early part of coaching. And I really felt that was a bit of my role in that tournament, less so than
Absolutely.
I played a couple points that I got in, but more so in that I was trying to navigate the ship.
Yeah.
You got to have that.
And we came out with a big
absolutely.
win there. I mean, that was a huge one. That was good.
Hell yeah. Dude, big
And that was
W's.
our team we built between we merged Infamous and Aftermath, and that was sort of its own project of like, and I feel like we had a strong team. We were in the top fours, and then we were able, like, 3 X ball events in, we were able to win the tournament, pretty quickly. So, and that was a merge of like, Aftermath, you guys had so much talent in youth, and we were like, had so much experience. It was kind of a good merger to bring that group together and learn from each other. So, and that was a fun team. Just the group of guys we had, all your guys clicked. Yeah. We had a lot of little sayings and slang, and we would go to the Tros Island, and it was a lot of fun times.
Tros Island, dude. Sure. Shout out to Tros Island. My goodness.
Let's go, Tros crew in the building.
We used to have the sweetest. Alex Savino had a really
we had a lot of team bonding.
Yeah, 100%. There was like a 3-story dope condo right on the beach in Mission Beach. God, 20, 21, 22 years old. Rusty, you're obviously a little bit older than that, but not much. And those were good times. Absolutely. We had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Party time for sure.
Guys, I'm so sorry to excuse myself. I need to use the restroom real quick. You guys carry the conversation. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. So Rusty, kind of to piggyback off of that, what has the experience of coaching Dynasty been like for you? You've been coaching us for quite a few years now, and we're still trucking and we're still giving it our all. Obviously, it's been a couple tournaments since we've won, to say the least. So we've got to make sure that we can get some W's coming. But what's that experience been like of being Dynasty's coach?
It's definitely been interesting. Obviously, I'm learning. It's still learning, still putting stuff down that I'm like, here's what's going to be good for the team. And I feel like that's key, is to, trying to look at things in the past and evolve the future. So that part's fun, is like when we have our meetings, and I'm like, here's a new angle of how to motivate people. Because we have a group of guys who have done it for so long.
That's right.
So you can fall in this rut of repetition, and you sort of have to break that. And, there is an expectation that, this group has so much success behind their belt that they know what to do at certain points. I don't have to babysit everything, but I got to bring in that little bit. Sometimes I'll break out the little papers with the motivational stuff at the events. I just finding those new angles and the new things to put together is kind of the fun part.
I love that stuff, man. And dude, it's not an easy task coaching any team, let alone a top tier professional team with all of us, and we got a lot of personalities, a lot of people that are very opinionated, including myself. And it's a dynamic, it's a Dynasty dynamic, and we have had a lot of success. And I believe that if this whole coronavirus thing hadn't happened, there would have been some pretty amazing moments to happen this year. I can't wait to get back on the field, because I know myself and Marcelo, we've all been working our butts off, man, to just stay sharp during this whole thing. And dude, more paintball. Let's go. We need it.
Yeah. I feel like in the last 2 weeks, I kind of had a breakthrough on like some stuff with Dynasty. This break itself has been sort of revealing on the whole experience.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, you're the first to hear it.
Live.
These are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Sometimes we lack joy. And what I mean is, like, when you go to the practices and you're so hard and so critical on each other, and it's like, it ruins that practice experience where you're arguing and fighting, and that's not that fun. But we're doing it because we need to win the tournament, and we're all on the mission to do that. But the way we do that doesn't have to be joyless. Like, we could really, like, what if we had a practice that was just so fun that you couldn't wait to get to the next practice or the next game plan or the next whatever? Like,
totally
the joy factor of that. And I think when you're climbing the ranks, you do have that joy. It's so fun to like try this and put together and experiment on the field without worrying about some guy eating your lunch. And like, you have this like flow and this like funness to it and this joy.
Yeah.
That carries over to the tournament. Then you get to the tournament and your meetings lack joy. And then you could beat a team 7-0 and you're still arguing that like a body didn't execute the game plan exactly how the game plan was supposed to be executed. Some guy's critical over this. Like, it doesn't even matter if we've had tournaments where we've gone 4-0 and lost 2 or 3 points, but we're still arguing over this 2 or 3 points. And that sort of stuff can kind of suck the joy out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do this whole process of practices and tournaments, don't you want to do that and win and have fun doing it?
For sure.
Wouldn't that be like the ultimate experience?
Absolutely. It is.
Yeah.
So even if we go and we're joyless in practice and we're joyless at the tournament and we win the tournament, what do we really accomplish?
Yeah.
We didn't enjoy, that's, it's a real talk. Like, we didn't really enjoy what we were working towards.
Yeah.
It was like, you may as well be Malloy and not smile when the Russian Legion just dominated the tournament and won. It was like, the whole process for him was not enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
The end was the result of the hard work, but it wasn't. There's a difference. You can enjoy the process, and I'm not saying every individual doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm saying collectively as a whole, Dynasty probably had more joy in the early years when they were dominating and they all lived in the house together and they were playing paintball together.
Yeah.
And now there's so many more distractions in life and people have things going on.
Yeah.
Back then, that's all they lived for. All those guys lived in the house and they enjoyed each other and they played tournaments. There was so much a high level of joy. And now it's we have to manage to find that joy. And that's really the key.
I agree. And the most groundbreaking thing that I have been processing in my experience of paintball at the highest level and being the best that I can be for the organization is I am truly, and that's why I've been saying it in Vegas, I was like, get excited, man. I'm so excited to be here. Legitimately, I am so thrilled and just overflowing to be in this moment with you guys playing paintball. And we have to capture that excitement and bring that heavy duty, raw, vigorous energy onto the field, because that is what that permeates out and it creates this whole new experience with the collective if we're all super excited and working hard to play at the highest level, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, Russ, do you think that was a reason we didn't win in Vegas?
I think in Vegas, we took our foot off the gas a little bit. I think we were winning the match, and then bits and pieces, like when I rewatched it, we eased off in different areas. And then those guys were trying to, they didn't give up. They just kept playing. And, obviously the game plan that won the tournament wasn't the one we were using. So we could have definitely relooked at that and modified the game plan and changed some stuff around in hindsight. But I mean, we had great opportunities in that match. We just didn't step on the gas and really put it to them in different areas. Arturo eased back on the snake. He got to the head of the snake and didn't clean up the games. There was just things that were we felt like we were already winning the match when we were up 3-1. And then we just then once they climbed back in, we were sort of going the opposite direction. And I was hoping it would self-correct, and it just didn't.
And we got to be super versatile up the middle as well. The versatility in today's day and age of paintball, the middle is breaking things open left and right, as well as obviously your outside positions and the communication from the back line. It all has to be going and working together. But there's definitely some formulas that we can implement into our tactic to make us a stronger team and organization as a whole,
Yeah, and I was looking forward to the season. Obviously, other teams had the same issue. Infamous built their roster, and I thought their roster was pretty good. So you want to see the storyline play out. Our roster, we added Skemp, we added Mike Arena. So we had these new, and that can bring joy, is the newness, having these new guys that we can work in and be around. That brings some joy sometimes, because we've had such a big core of guys for so long. So it's nice to add in a new element, mix it up. And I was excited to see where that was going to take us, but we haven't had anything going on all year.
I know. I was so excited for this season of paintball. It was, honestly, the first season in a few years that I've been able to just focus.
Look what happened.
Totally. First season in a few years that I was able to put all of my time and energy into practicing and getting to the field during the week to do drills. Then we go into Vegas, didn't have the showing we wanted, I was just pumped to get right back to work, right, and start building off of what we had. So I felt really good in Vegas with the team, with everything, everything you're saying, with the additions, with our players.
Yeah,
I was so ready for the damn season, and now this. So it's definitely a huge bummer. I can't wait until we can get back to that stage where we can start grinding again.
Dude, I'm praying for 2021, baby. Come on, let's go.
A nice World Cup win wouldn't be bad either,
Yeah.
I was actually going to be. I turned 40 in November this year, so I actually qualified this year for the Masters division at the Nations Cup. So, but now that's canceled or up in the. I don't think they're going to do it. So now that's like they were planning on doing it every 2 years. I think they'll push it to next year. But that was exciting. Is like I was going to go play in that and compete for USA and try and bring home gold for us. So that was something I was personally looking.
You guys are going to have
jumping in the ring and being in the Masters, and we had good guys.
Yeah,
qualifying. Yeah, we had some good players. Thomas Taylor, Mike Jackson qualified this year, so we're gonna have a pretty strong rep.
That's a squad. Yeah, you guys would have dominated sort of over there.
And Ryan's on the team as well. I'm just joking.
He's close.
Yeah, he's
close to years.
Yeah.
Alex, Ryan, and Yosh, I think, will be qualified in the same, because they do it every 2 years. They'll be on the same qualifying team. So they'll be on the dream team.
That's funny.
Dude, that's going to be heavy hitting. Oh, man. Watch out.
Is Ryan going to be able to play both?
He will be the first person to play both. For sure. You can play. I believe you can play both.
That's
tight. What about Shane Howe?
So if you're a U16, you can play out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's in there. Yeah. I don't know if he played on the men's team, but
he did.
For sure, Shane's in the Masters. Yeah. But I'm like, all these guys in the Masters, this year was our year to jump in and play. Now these all-stars are going to come in, and then it's going to push the rosters around for some of the other guys. So it's like, dude, we're missing our window here. These other active pro players are going to come in and sweep all the spots.
Oh, for sure.
Damn it.
It's going to be heavy hitting paintball out there for sure in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, but while we have you on the show, we're going to kind of put you on the spot here, but it's good for Tyler and myself too, because we're all about growth. Yeah. What do you want more out of each of us as players for Dynasty? What are things that we could bring to the team that would help the team do better?
Yeah, how can we consistently make finals and win tournaments, man? Point blank. That's where it's at.
I think we lack. I've been thinking about this too. The subtraction of Oliver took away a superpower on the team. So then Ryan is heavily engaged and involved without another balance. It's almost like a yin and a yang is missing. So whereas like Ryan and Oliver would balance each other out, they would argue, but like both alphas, both dominant players, I don't feel like anyone has like filled the balance there. I know it's not saying that's an easy challenge that anyone wants to do, but I feel like that, there has to be a way to manage that a bit.
Dude,
and Alex, I feel like that has to happen. Like
Alex has been doing a great job.
In a sense, yeah, in a sense, but like a changing of the guard.
Yeah, right.
So like, if you guys are going to really truly take over the team, eventually these guys are going to be gone.
Well,
like,
you're looking
you're
looking at him, but Ryan doesn't want to argue with me.
That is true. He is very wise in his age.
No, I do.
But you know what I'm saying
is
the shift in the changing of the guard is like you're going to have to shift into, being in the meetings and I know, Mark, you play with Ryan all over the world and you do that a bit, but I feel like we haven't filled the void between the balance of power and that can negatively affect us. Alex tries, but he's not as committed to, like, he doesn't work as hard as Ryan. So there's that. Ryan can look at him and go, well, you're not doing what I'm doing, so I'm not going to fully respect that. Whereas like Oliver would go and lead by example. So he would go and output on the field and then he would say things and you have to respect that. So I feel like that could be a lack, Obviously you guys both, want to play every point and you bring what I like out there and you do those parts. But I think it's really balancing the overall team aspect.
Well, unfortunately we don't play every point. Yeah.
I do gotta say,
that's something to look at too, though.
Yeah.
mm-hmm. I do gotta say, Tyler and I have been talking about it, especially since, I mean, we talk all day, every day now since we've been doing this, which is great. We can't wait for practice because we're just gonna start bullying all the guys on the team. This is the new guard, baby. It's time.
Do you remember when we won World Cup in 2015? Oliver came to those practices with like a vengeance.
Yeah.
Like he came and was like bunkering people and making people mad and getting people really fired up. And then we went into that tournament and we won the exhibition on Thursday. We dominated through the tournament. We won the tournament. Like, but he came with that stick and that like, I'm going to be in your face and I'm going to make practice harder than the tournament. And then when we get to the tournament, guess what? I'm on your side. It's like I'm no longer the bad guy that you're seeing on the other end, when we're playing ourselves. Now I'm on your side and I'm your bad guy and I'm going to go after these other guys with you.
Yeah.
Powerful.
So,
Super
having
powerful,
that sort of stick and,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Theodore, just go out there and do the work.
That's it. Like Theodore Roosevelt said, dude, carry a big stick. That's what we got to do for sure.
Yeah, it was great when Oliver came to those practices because I finally had some backup with the things I was arguing with Ryan about.
Yeah.
Oliver, I was like, this all makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan's a master at what he does, but he's very locked into his vision of how something needs to go. Which is just his style and his mindset, and he's a perfectionist and he wants it to be, we could win a point, but he's like, hey, you didn't move over to this corner and help me. You decided to do this. We're just playing the game.
Yeah.
So, there's that. Obviously, there was that friction between, A-Rod's style of play is very maverick, and then Ryan's very structured. I feel like Archie's a lot like Ryan.
Yeah.
Whereas he can rub his teammates the wrong way because he's a perfectionist and he has a way that he likes it done. Yeah. I've talked with those guys. I've heard that kind of stuff. But these guys are elite level players.
Of course.
And they have elite expectations of how everyone's going to be. But it's paintball. Paintball's bounce people. You miss. Things happen. You're making split-second decisions. You're adjusting the game plan. The game plan, we could break out in the game plan I put together is trash.
Yeah.
We lose the guy that's key to the whole Dorito push. And next thing you know, we have to put it all together. So,
and it's
not
huge.
easy for that to be done in a way that someone wants it to be done. You're just doing your best to make your decision and try and win points.
That's huge. And it's in professional paintball, it's a balance, right? You can't get all locked into this cryptic way of thinking about paintball. And you also can't be super flowy because then you have no direction for the whole entity. The whole conglomerate is not moving in the same direction. So you have to have this crazy balance of the flow with the super sharp edge, like this is this, that is that, and it's a beautiful blend of both that we have to marry together. And that's going to be our task. Marcelo, myself, Ryan, Yosh, Alex, all the dudes on the team, that's our task. And coach, we gotta mesh this together and really come with it, and stop half-assing it and start winning some tournaments. Cause we can, and we have all the pieces. We definitely do.
Yeah. And that's the other, go ahead, Mark.
Yo, no, sorry. I was just going to say, I totally agree with that, Ty. And I also think that the game has evolved in a way where I've tried to evolve my game because with the way the fields are, with the way the teams are playing now, aggression is rewarded and certain, discipline's very important, but sometimes you really do have to just throw the game plan out the window and go win points now. And you can't sit there and just hold a zone and lock a field down the way you used to be able to, simply because of the style of, whether it's the fact that we shoot slower, 10 balls a second, bigger bunkers on the field, more bunkers on the field, gaps are smaller. All of these things that come into play. You watch over the last 2 years, all the teams that have won events, players have just sent it. And in each, 100%. And in each match, teams that win the tournament, they have players that make multiple mistakes throughout a match, but they get through more than they miss, they hit them out of the park a few more than they miss. And that's really all that ends up mattering at the end of the day now. So we have to evolve with that as well and kind of play a little freer and play with a little more confidence, a little more swag. I think that's kind of what you're alluding to, but I personally think that we have all the pieces. We truly just have to get out of our own way. We have to win. We have to win, and get to the finals and win with this group. And I think once we do that, it's going to become that much more powerful because, I mean, we have everything. We really do. I truly believe that.
That's right. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, we touch all the bases on the parts that we need. We got to refine the process. And like I said, if we can bring the joy to it, a group that I saw that was successful was a team that you were on, was the Ironman in 2007.
Yeah.
When Oliver had put together the group of all the young kids,
Mm-hmm.
I was on Infamous at the time. We went to practice you guys at the ranch, but I just was like, dude, look at all these guys. All these kids are having so much fun. And like, I'm out here on the grind, arguing with my team, and we were getting worked by you guys, but like, you guys were just having so much fun. I was like, that looks like they're having so much joy in building a team and putting together, a successful team. There was so much joy in that. And that made me think of like, what would you, if you're putting together a team, you put together this group and get on a mission and enjoy that process. And so I feel like this break benefits us hugely, for sure. Dynasty. Because we're like, you get in a rut where you're like tournament, short off season, tournament. You're traveling the world, Australia, Europe, US, like for some of you guys that are traveling heavy.
Mm-hmm.
On this big gap, it creates a big miss where we're like, I miss playing, I miss practice. So now when you come back, you'll cherish this opportunity. It's not so regular in your life that it's like, man, I really just want to be at practice with the guys and working on this. And that sort of, in a way for Dynasty, that's a good thing.
Dude, it makes me want to cry.
All these guys.
Oh, get us back.
But it resets all the guys. I mean, especially these guys have done it for 20 years as a team.
Yeah,
it gives you sort of a real break because unless you quit, you don't get that kind of break. So this is a unique break to really pass over some burnout and really reinvigorate the joy for the game. To play the game.
Hey, play the game, baby.
Yeah,
let's go.
What it's about.
That's actually, that's so true, man. It's an opportunity. You can take these things that happen, and maybe worse things will happen, maybe better things will happen. I don't know, but it's all an opportunity. Everything gives you the opportunity, and we can take this opportunity and make the most of it, and become better athletes, better paintball players, and enjoy the game. And just keep loving it. Yeah,
I mean, you just got to remember to cherish. We shoot gelatin capsules at other people. I mean, you got to cherish that is something that we get to do.
Yeah,
and at a high level. So
for sure, man.
You just got to remember that.
We're so fortunate, truly the most fortunate to be able to still be doing this. I mean, we've all been doing it for so long, and I know I still love it more than I ever have. I feel like I just started playing yesterday, and it's the best game in the world, dude. We're very blessed and fortunate to have this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you've been lucky because you got to get the Pro Tour. You got to get some competition in.
Yeah, I felt good.
Rather than it was good to get out and see you getting some throwing up some dukes on some competition. So
that was fun.
Well played on that match, man. That was excellent work.
Yeah.
And it's like when LB calls me up and he's like, man, look at Tyler. Like to see one of my friends who's like, I played with forever, and he's watching you play.
Dude, I love that.
He's like, man. And it like made me proud because I'm like, well, I coached Tyler on Dynasty, so it's like that's one of my guys. So
that's right.
I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Let's go.
So.
Let's go, baby. Dynasty, the Dragon Bloodline.
Like, what'd you expect?
Let's get it. It's all love for paintball, man. It's anytime I can get out there, dude, I'm itching. Even just going and playing locally, doing the safe, distancing and playing ball. Anything I can do to keep the economy going for paintball, keep the love of the game alive. And I know that's our mission here with Play the Game podcast. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And Tyler's been out. I mean, you're fortunate where you live now, because we got a field 8 miles from you and from me. We're close to a field. So
dude, I envy that so much.
Soft turf. It's got good turf compared to, other places we play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's good. And we got a good relationship working there with Wild West locally. So
totally. Yeah. Shout out to the paintball fields in Arizona. Absolutely loving it out here. We got Battle Zone, Wild West. We're actually, G2 is going to be doing some training at both Wild West and Battle Zone. Coming up next month, we'll be at both of those parks doing some training.
Nice.
Yeah. So the upcoming schedule with that is we'll be at Wild West once a month, and we'll be at Battle Zone once a month.
Yeah.
So we have dates. If you go to g2paintball.com, I just put up the dates and I just put up the registration system. You just have to put down a deposit to register, and then we'll settle up when the days come or whatever. But all that just got released, and it's cool. Me and Tyler are going to be out there instructing on skills and strategy.
Yeah.
Vic Gamboa and Brandon Unger will be running an agility 2-hour session to start the morning.
Yeah.
So we really got a good program that we recently went out and did as sort of a trial run. And we're putting together a pretty good 6 sessions total that you could sign up for. So you could practice once a month at your local field, or you could travel with us across town back and forth and do 6 sessions in 3 months. So twice a month.
Also, if you're out of state or out of country, if you're on the other side of the world, come to G2 and train with us. We're doing athletic performance training to make you the best paintball player you can possibly be and turn you hopefully into a pro paintball player. That's our mission. We want to turn these players into pros.
Yeah, I want to help players rise to the top, and that's, the top of the tournament you're playing in, the top of the top division in the pro division. Really helping people, really closing the gap. The gap's so big between pro, semi-pro, and all the division's stretched so far out now. I mean, when I started, there was rookie, novice, amateur, pro.
Yeah.
Now there's so many divisions. The gap is just when someone starts, if they go up a division every year, it's on like an 8 or 9 year plan to get to the pro division. So you got to find a way to level up faster.
For sure. And for all the listeners out there, can you kind of just dive into what G2 is and give them the nuts and bolts of what we're working with here? Because for me, this is profound. There's nothing that's ever been done like it before. It's the athleticism of paintball, and it's fundamental for your growth as a paintball player.
Yeah. So when I did a clinic with Marcelo, we came out to Arizona, and Vic was out there it was Elite at the time. You and I flew in, and we were working with Elite for the weekend. And Vic's out here working these guys on all these exercises and running and sprints and ladder drills and all this stuff. I don't typically do that. I just expect players, what I coach you guys, I expect you to show up and be conditioned.
Yeah, totally.
So that I was like, well, if I strap that onto what I already do with skills and tactics and strategy, that would make a well-balanced clinic. Because if you have all 3 of those things, and then you eventually add, mindset is built in, then you have a pretty well-balanced training program. So I saw what Vic was doing. The way he was executing that was excellent.
Dude,
he was hard on people.
Huge shout out to Victor.
He just runs it like such a drill sergeant, and he keeps it flowing. And I saw what Vic was doing. I was like, well, I want to work with Vic. I like what he's doing there, even though it's he's Vic and the team is buddies with him. So not everyone understands what he's doing out there, but he flips a switch when he goes into his agility stuff. And he trains these people as if, they're professional athletes, no matter what level you are. Yeah. So, and I like that to start the day off. And then Vic comes in with Brandon Unger, actually does a lot of fitness stuff too. So both of those guys are doing all this agility stuff. Once they're done with that 2-hour session, that's when Tyler and I come in and we start working on, skills or strategy, depending on the drill. We could be doing snap shooting, or we could be doing 2-on-2s, depending on what sort of stuff we're working on with the group. And then we give that experience and in all of our playing experience and provide that. But it's really about having a balance between agility, skills, and strategy, and having all those together. And you can think of players who have great strategy, great skills, no agility, great agility, great skills, no strategy. You got to have all 3 if you're going to, and if you combine it even at an early stage in your game, you're just going to bump up through the ranks fast.
Yeah.
Because you're training in a balance of those things.
Totally.
And that's kind of what we're focusing.
Victor came up with this in the end of 2018. I think he started it to train. I'm actually training with her tomorrow at the Tough Mudder training facility around the corner from me. Her name is slipping my mind. Can you guys help me out?
Jessie.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Jess. Smith. Yes, Jessica. He started training her to get her on Team USA. And that's kind of what birthed this. And here we are in 2020, and it's really catching steam, man. People are hungry to learn the athleticism of paintball and really get your butt kicked, because that's what happens is you're just dead tired after running the ladders, doing the agility drills, and all these different things that we implement.
Yeah, and I mean, it's
and I
very
can tell you just on the
Sorry again.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go, Mike.
Totally sorry to the listeners. We just have a little bit of a lag here, so we're kind
No,
of
this
trying
is
to manage
fun.
that. Yeah,
It's
but
like
it's real
We're
life.
flowing.
But I was just gonna say, there's very specific movements in paintball that you need to train for. That going to the gym and doing your traditional workouts, or even if you're conditioning the way you would as a basketball player or a football player, it's not quite the same as the way you need to condition for paintball. So that's what I love about G2 as well, is it teaches you how to be a paintball athlete. And that's so important because your athleticism on the field really can make or break you. If your mind makes the right decision, but your physical ability hinders you, that stinks. You get shot that way. You lose a tournament that way. You lose a big point, whatever it is, whether it's making a quick bump into the snake and your body isn't exactly the way it needs to be. That's the difference between winning and losing. And so with G2, I absolutely love the program. And I love that it's really kind of getting, going full steam ahead. And I can't wait to start doing some of these clinics and events with you guys.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And we're this year obviously upset the plan of like having, ideally I wanted to train people all year long and help them develop and put together a body of work that's like, we've moved these guys along. We worked with Austin Beatty a little bit here and there, but really work with people and move them along to put together some examples.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously this year was kind of a flop on that. But now we put some dates in and we're sort of priming to, get out there and train players. What I ultimately want to do here in Arizona is a spring training camp. So baseball has like 16 pro teams here that do a spring training camp in March. So going off that theme of like the weather's perfect here.
Yeah.
The fields have good turf here. We can hold a big event here to do sort of a primer for the season and get like a 5-day spring training camp going and bring people out, do some real serious training and really grind people and get them prepped for the season.
For sure. AZ.
And the cool part is we're so neutral. Like with G2, I'll train anyone. Tyler will train anyone. We're not building a team per se. We're just building individuals and preparing them to compete in paintball. So any team could send us a player. We're not going to steal their player. It's not our camp or their camp. We're just neutral. So we just want to, build players up. And that's sort of the cool part about it is we can then connect with all the different teams and really work with whoever we want to work with.
It's huge, man. And huge shout out to you and Victor, both couple of the most amazing guys you could ever work with in paintball. And, what you guys are doing is pivotal, man, because I'll tell you what, if I didn't train for Sunday, and that's what I'm training for, I really don't care about Friday, Saturday. Obviously, I want to win the games, but that really isn't where my focus is. On Sunday, when we show up to play paintball and win the paintball tournament, I cannot have players that are tired. I cannot have players that have muscles that are hurt and this, that, and the other. I can't, because if you look at the top teams that are winning tournaments, they don't have those. It's just not happening. They are physically, athletically sound and ready to get the job done on Sunday. Absolutely. And that's what it takes to win tournaments, man. I know, there's a lot of layers to it, but seriously, on Sunday, that's all that matters. Like we got to show up and we got to be ready on that day in those moments, like you said, to capture those moments and bring home that trophy when it matters.
Yeah. And that could be intimidating when you show up on Sunday and a team's like, still looks fresh.
Yeah.
And point after point, they're running off the field to get back in the pit. And they're running back on the field like no problem.
Yeah.
And you're dragging out there like just struggling to get to the gate, and the other guys are running off. Another guy's playing every single point, running with all this energy, and you're just like, you're struggling to get through. That can be intimidating. That can start to get in your head a little bit when you're calling timeouts because you're not getting all 5 guys out and the other team's all waiting out there. It's like, that's the agility factor in being an athlete. So that comes in huge.
I know. And I feel like this is such an untapped thing, this type of athletic training. So I know Marcelo and myself, we're both super excited to be a part of it. Huge shout out to G2 Paintball and everything you guys are doing, man. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah. And the way it works is like, if we're training you in our program, you really should never quit it.
Yeah.
Because if we're rising you through the ranks, paintball is getting cheaper and you get on a pro team and they're giving you equipment, paying for all your stuff, you should have a surplus of budget.
That's right.
offset the cost of G2 to keep playing, and we keep boosting you to the top. So really, it's a program you can get involved with and keep doing it. And
it's
participate.
The cost on G2 isn't anything crazy, and it's like pennies on the dollar for what you're getting when you show up to one of these things. So it's
I mean, right now we're running. If you sign up for all 6, it's $150.
Yeah.
So you're paying $25 a session
That's
to come out.
crazy cheap.
And learn.
That's cheaper than if you get a personal trainer at the gym.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievably inexpensive.
Yeah.
Y'all need to raise your prices.
We just want to make it. But the goal is to make it so people can come to multiple sessions and not just, if we go out and charge $100 for a session, then it's going to be hard to get that base of players to come back again. But if we divide it up into smaller bites, then we can actually start building players. And then once you train those players a couple times and they go out on their own and see results, then they're like, now we got to get part of this. And then we can start to build up a real group. And then, Tyler's out there working with the same guys. He knows them by name. He knows their stuff. Once we start multi-session with people, like you do with your summer camp guys, you already know some of their habits. You know what to build on. Like that's the real joy for us as coaches is like once we start to mold players. But that takes more than just a weekend clinic. That takes, a reason. The reason is being out there and building the players and having a multi-session, making it affordable so guys can participate. Is part of it too.
Yeah, it's so affordable that you could actually, like I said, people from around the world, please come out to Arizona, join us for a G2 athletic training. You saving money on the cost of what it would cost to have us train you. Buy a plane ticket, meet us out there, and let's have some fun.
Tyler just moved to Arizona, and he's been trying to do whatever he can to get people to come to Arizona.
That's awesome.
Right. It actually is like in the summer, it's hot for sure, but the winter time, like 8 months out of the year, it's cash money. This thing is like the weather's the best. I swear, it is.
Yeah,
and I do
a lot of river floats in the summer.
There we go, baby. I'm from Modesto.
Need to get in on
Modesto, so Modesto heat ain't too far off from this. It gets pretty cooking over there. Yeah.
Hey, Russ, so I got to ask because again, and you're never one to talk about yourself. You never have been. You keep things very professional and very modest, but again, you're one of the more decorated coaches to ever play the game. And that's why I feel so fortunate because I've had 2 of the best coaches in my opinion in the history of paintball and actually polar opposites. Right. And I'm talking about Shane Pastana, when I was on the Ironman, who is more emotion based. And then you, who is more analytic based and just logic and strategy. Can we talk about, when you did step into the role as a coach on Dynasty, you guys went on a really big run from 2012 all the way until, 2014, 15, 16. And then, we've been in a little bit of a lull, which people like to talk about so much, but people don't realize how hard it is to stay on the top. And it's funny to hear people talk, but still the players on this team and the team itself has more wins than most professional players will ever have in their entire career. But what is your view on coaching? Like what type of, I guess for the coaches out there that are trying to coach these divisional teams and trying to make it to the top of their ranks, how do you approach getting a group of guys to work together? And is it different based on the players you have? How do you navigate that? I really want to dive into your mind as a coach.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've been fortunate because I walked in your shoes. So I do know like the struggles. I do understand, making mistakes on the field. I understand those parts of the game because I lived it for so long. So I've been fortunate as a coach to have that part of the game. It wouldn't be as easy if I was coaching, but I had good strategy, but like, I'm not speaking from experience and knowing what you guys are going through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For coaches that don't have that experience though, it's more about evolving yourself to just ask good questions of your players. So if you're like a coach who doesn't have a big paintball background, or you haven't been successful as some of your players, you can disarm them by just asking questions. Because you start making a statement, then people start to reject that because they're like, he doesn't know as much as me. But when you ask it in a question form, you may know the answer, but now you're letting your player give you that answer and you're letting him speak. So I feel like for a coach without the same background as me, that's probably how you have to do it, is just get really good at asking questions. even if you know the answer.
Right.
You're letting the person go through the process in their brain of saying, okay, this happened because of this. I can do this and that. You know, you ask like, hey, what's it going to take for you to move up the Rito side, rather than saying, dude, you're not getting it done over there. You're struggling over there. You know, speaking that sort of language. And if you haven't walked in those shoes or really understand it, the player is probably going to reject that and not. You can build more respect faster by asking good questions. We say that for each other too.
That's so true. We actually spoke about that on a show about like the communication and how important it is to boost with good questions instead of like attacking a player, asking a good question that, like you said, makes him answer it for it. It also gets the communication flowing. He doesn't feel attacked and then it all like goes crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of definitely important tactics. And, you know, it's not easy what you do, Rusty. I mean, you have to be the eyes, ears, feet, hold the gun without ever holding the gun. And you're like, you know, it's not like you're out there running the Doritos or running the snake. So, you know, it's a lot of us giving you intel and then also us just making good decisions as well, to help boost you as much as we can. Cause it's a fucking hard job, dude. You got such a hard job to deal with all these players. And that goes for all coaches. But the best thing that you can do is navigate it with good questions and, you know, be as aware as we possibly can be and make good decisions.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially if you're not player heavy, like experience wise, like I was, you have to like learn and ask as much about the field as you can.
Totally.
So that you've probed out all these things. You've already asked all the questions and you know what they're going to say in a sense. You're learning the field through someone else's experience in a way. I'm not playing the field, but I know what questions to ask and keep asking and figure out things
totally
over and over and over. So I feel like if you're a coach without a lot of experience, asking questions is definitely huge. And I feel like if you're a team with a coach that you know he doesn't have the same experience, you got to let that guy coach.
Yeah.
He's going to call some plays that aren't going to be great.
Yeah.
So what? Every play is playable.
That's right.
You may break out with a bad game plan, but the other team's game plan matched up perfectly that your bad plan beat theirs, and you just play off that.
Yeah.
So you got to let coach. You know, coaches they're like a player. I make bad calls.
That's right. I
call a game plan, and I thought they were going to do this. We go with this game plan. I was wrong.
You know, that's funny.
But that's just like someone breaking out and getting shot.
That's really, really funny, dude. That's so funny that you say that because that's so true, Rusty. It's like, yeah, you do calculus and you crunch the numbers to make sure we got the perfect game plan. I'm putting parentheses up and all this, but it's like, you know, yeah, you might run this crazy game plan that it matches up perfectly with theirs where they shoot a couple of you. And there's what I'm trying to get at is you just got to play the game. You got to play paintball, you know. Obviously we want to set ourselves up the best we can to make shots off the break and be at our bunkers alive and all that kind of stuff and communicate properly. But at the end of the day, we got to get those wins. We got to just get down there and get those wins and make it happen together, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like Oliver is always like, every game plan's good.
That's right.
So we call a game plan. He's like, that one's good. Let's go. Like whatever it is, just wants to know that and then go make it work.
I love that.
And that was one of our saying before was make it work.
Make it work. That's right.
We're calling it. We're scrapping a play together, and it's just like make it work.
Totally.
Like, whatever. I tell it to you all the time, March. Make it work.
100%.
Fill the gap. You're a player. You got most of the play. Make it work.
Bob and weave, baby. Let's go.
When you get out on the paintball field with your teammates, you can make any game plan work because, like you said, X's. And it's funny. I even made a post about our summer camp win, and it was like, you know, something along the lines. I've said this in the past too. X's and O's, sure, they're important, and sometimes they do win points. But at the end of the day, the players on the field make or break a coach. You know, they really do. They have to execute it. They have to, and you can take a play that is unconventional or doesn't seem right, and if the players on the field through teamwork and communication and belief and execution, you could really make it all work because you're shooting paintballs at the other team, you know? And as long as you have an understanding of how the field plays, which happens in preparation, any game plan can get maneuvered to work the right way, you know, because you can figure out how to fill a void or cover a hole or capitalize on a broken zone, something like that.
Dude, that's the most foundational thing to winning tournaments, I think, is like when I came on in 2013, 14, whatever, we had this grit mentality. It was different. Like in the team, it was just a different vibe we were carrying. And it was along the lines of make it work. It's the same thing, like grit. You got to grit through whatever happens, and we got to make this work. And just, I don't give a shit what happens. Let's win this. Like, let's connect together and let's do whatever we got to do to win. And if you have that mentality and you have 5 guys, 10 guys, all the people joined in on that, doing the work off the field, plus the grit mentality, it's going to be like, you're just going to have wins. You're going to get wins. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I, trust me, I love when, if I can go put a play and it's like, I know the guy's going to come here and I set up a little trap.
Of course.
I mean, I love that. I love that as a coach. It's
Me
like,
too,
I knew what they're going to do. And then our guys execute that. And it's like, that was a nice, easy bucket.
Yes.
Like, trust me, I love that. That doesn't always happen. You got to work for those, and things got to line up for those to happen.
Yeah.
So
those feel good, though.
It's not always easy. Oh,
dude,
yeah.
And you can, like you said, you can dial in and study people, and the play calls really do play a huge factor. Obviously, we all know that. But then the other flip side of the coin is just get it done. You know, we got to go out there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so what's your favorite drill or exercise that you like running Dynasty through to get us ready for tournaments?
I mean, I'd say like my go-to favorite is probably the island drill.
Yeah.
Just because it's a 3-on-3 drill. Mm-hmm. It's so situational and it's so mid-game. And I feel like that's wins big points in the tournaments.
Totally.
So I mean, I feel like we've drifted away at times from doing those, but every time we do them, we get such a good reward out of doing those island drills.
Yeah.
And then we end up in so many number configurations off that. So like 3-on-2s, 2-on-2s, 2-on-1s, 1-on-1s. Like we fall into those off the island drills, mm-hmm. and we get a good read on the field oftentimes from those drills.
Yeah.
Where the push is going to get put together in little squads.
Well, it happens.
So it happens I feel
so
like
often.
That's probably my favorite.
Why don't you explain the island drill for people?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the island situation it's kind of a concept that I came up with when I played with John Richardson. We were always play on the Dorito side together. And if I broke out and he died, I realized I can't put myself at risk, because if I get shot, they come rolling down this side of the field. So I realized I'm kind of alone over here unless someone shifts my way. So that was, to me, I was like, okay, I'm on an island. I explained it to him. And I'm like, if I go up front and die and you're back here and you make another risk, same thing. Like we lose this side of the field. And no matter how we're doing on the snake side, if they roll around behind us on the Dorito side, we're toast.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, this understanding of what to do in the situation as the lone guy on your side.
Yeah.
And
totally.
then yelling across to the other guys that you're on an island and having that understanding. And you sort of set it up where you have 2 guys on one side, 1 guy on the other side by himself. And then you flip it on the other side, you can match the 2 or flip it so it's 2-on-1 on each side.
Yeah.
But it's having that awareness of that situation and then applying it to the layout, like how that matters, and knowing which side of the field works good.
And
so
that
the
happens.
island drill is a huge mid game, and it really exposes players. When you play a 5-on-5, you're running out and you're getting shotgun in the corner, you're breaking out. When you're in these set 3-on-3s, the game's a bit slower. You're in this mid-game situation, and you can see critical thinking. You can see teamwork. So when I'm watching those drills, it's probably my favorite, because I can see when guys are putting it together. I can see when guys are gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's like saying when you get to the tournament, you need your guys putting together these mid-game points in these 3-on-3s and breaking it down. So.
Dude, it's everything.
To me, that's
dude, I want to get back to practice so bad.
Yeah, this is agonizing. Talking about all this is like, oh my God.
I want to have a tournament to prepare for.
Yeah, seriously. And Rusty, dude, that happens all the time. You have a couple guys that get shot here or there, and it creates an island. And that's what really creates top tier players, is that awareness, right? You got to be aware of when you're the island, when to move, when to kind of hold them a little before you make it rain. Mm-hmm. It's a balancing act for sure. Yeah.
And then you end up in so many configurations too, which is great. Mm-hmm. So, and we always are trying to work on communication. It's a great drill for communication and putting things together.
Absolutely, man.
Good balance there.
Yeah, it's a fun drill. I love that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan did a full breakdown of that drill on BKI. And then I actually went through and mapped out PDFs where you can have what configurations you can set up in a split, like an even 3, and where if you have an even 3, the back guy has to move towards one side or the other. So there's different ways you can shift that drill to make it interesting as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, paintball is limitless when it comes to the drills. That's the fun part about doing all these trainings, is there's just so many different things that we can implement into the training process.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I got a question.
I probably enjoy. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I want to hear what you have to say, actually.
No, I was just saying I probably lean towards strategy-based drills as an enjoyment. Like our guys, when we do skill-based drills, I'm like, I'm not going to monitor your snap shooting. Like I expect you to go out there and like do the work. But I enjoy the strategy-based stuff.
For sure. Yeah, it really shows the nuts and bolts of how we're processing the information on the field and how we're going to choose to make decisions out there. But you've been in the game for so long, dude. I got to know, what is like your favorite paintball memory or moment of all time that that when you think of it, you just feel like a god or whatever?
I mean, I'll give you two. So the tournament that we actually got kicked out of, we got kicked out of the tournament at World Cup with Avalanche in 2002. It was Jeremy Somm went into the woods.
The bad boys.
Yeah. So I had been.
You were on that team, Rusty?
And I earned my starting spot. Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was my first professional year.
Oh my God.
I had earned. I went from playing three games in a tournament to like I played Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. By Chicago, I was on the starting line on the 10-man.
Dude.
So by then I kept up the same regiment. Wednesday, Thursday, I'd meet Oliver early on Wednesdays and play him in one-on-ones. Whoever showed up, we would play. And I would be Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way up to like World Cup. I came into that tournament like on fire. And one of the games I shot 8 of 10 guys,
dude,
in the 10-man game.
Holy
so that
moly.
was a good memory because I was like, I had worked so hard training wise, and I went there. And then we just in that game, they shot a guy on the break. One guy came to bunker guy, and I shot all the rest of the players on that game. So that was like a solid.
That's awesome.
His little. Yep. You know what? Real quick, everybody. Yeah, Rusty's headphones died.
Yep. That's how it goes with those AirPods.
We can't hear him right now.
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 people. That's crazy. That's madness.
He can hear us though, and I think I could see him kind of struggling because Rusty, the Zencastr, I don't.
So if I switch it to this, it messes up the other thing.
No,
there he is.
Oh,
it's God. Yes.
Okay. So I think he unmuted his Zoom. Just give us a second. Yeah, Rusty, it has to go through the Zencastr. We won't be able to use this audio from the Zoom. So
that's okay. This is fun. We can play a fun game of like Pictionary where he's speaking and then we can relay what he's talking about.
He's got his headphones back on the charger and he could charge those for like another 30 seconds or so, and we can close out this
what I always do is
Rust, but
I'll put one on the charger and one in the ear.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when that one dies, hit it with the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I used to do too. But that's crazy, Ty. I didn't know that Rusty played on the infamous Avalanche team where Jeremy Solemn's in the woods at World Cup launching paintballs at people on the field. That was crazy. He got chased down in the woods. That story's nuts.
Dude, for people that don't know, this was like 2001 or 2, right?
Yeah.
And so Avalanche is playing a paintball game. Jeremy is out in the woods at World Cup. And it's like a team that they didn't even have to like do this to. Like they were going to win the game or whatever from what I hear. And Jeremy's out there hucking paintballs into the field. They didn't have a netting on the tape side where the forest was in Florida. And this guy's just going to town, letting them have it. And by like they keep getting shot and they're like, where the hell is that coming from? And then one of the dudes figures out it's coming from the woods. And I forget who it was.
I think it was Nicky Cuba because it was on GZ. Right. Yeah, he chased Jeremy Solemn through the woods. I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive.
I think you're right.
It was Nicky Cuba, dude.
Yeah, and shout out to Nicky.
Shout out to Nicky is right, dude. Rusty, Nicky, and I all played on Infamous together too. We'll have to have Nicky Cuba on this show because Nicky's just an absolute legend. Love Nicky
for
Cuba.
sure. He's on my list for sure of people we got to get on.
100%.
And that was a timeless memory. That was my first time ever going to World Cup was that tournament. And I didn't see the game, but I just remember hearing all the crazy buzz about it. Like the guy was shooting out of the woods in a pro game. I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy. You're already at World Cup at that age. My first World Cup was in 2005 with San Diego Aftermath when we were playing Division 3. That was my first World Cup. Yeah.
Nice.
And then, damn, what's crazy is the year after that, I was pro at World Cup.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a trip. I never looked at it that way because we've made a pretty big jump. But
for sure, you guys, that storyline is definitely, you guys went for it. You know, you're like, hey, it's time to go.
It's time to go. Dude,
Yeah.
I wonder, man, I hope Rusty get back on. I really want to ask him.
Here he is.
Oh, he's got the cable.
He's got the cable. And
cords.
for the YouTubers, we had a nice picture of the old boy in his Dynasty jersey. I'm talking about myself playing a little paintball on YouTube. You can check out Rusty's background. He's got like this dope picture playing some ball.
Okay. So Rusty, make sure you mute your Zoom before you come back into the convo. There you go. Let's see.
Big dog.
Uh-oh. So your audio's not working on the Zencaster. Give us a...
Well, R.I.P. Rusty. Come on, Rust. Get back in here. Yeah, because I want to talk about Constant Pursuit. Rusty develops some of the best web pages in the world, man, for paintball fields and stores.
I know. I wonder if he comes in the Zoom, if there's a way I can. And sorry again for the listeners. This is raw, as we always say. Oh, I see something happening. Rusty, give us a little talk. Say something. Oh, no. So Rusty, yeah. No. You keep like muting and unmuting the Zencaster. Keep that unmuted.
Yeah, and then mute the Zoom.
Damn.
This is real life. This is live. Yeah, so everybody who doesn't know, Rusty owns Constant Pursuit. It's what he does. He builds web pages. He actually built the ptgpodcast.com webpage, which is a super sweet page. You can go check that out. And if you're a field or a store, be sure to hit up constantpursuit.com.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, Rust, unmute the Zoom.
All right, how's that? Does that mess everyone up?
Yeah, you know what? We'll see. Oh, yeah, because it echoes back.
Yeah,
it's not going to work. We're going to have to call it, guys. I'm sorry. It's a little bit of a bummer, but yeah. So,
hey,
Rusty,
that AirPod's got to be charged up. Throw that thing in your ear and let's party.
Yeah, see if that can go back in.
Yeah, unplug the microphone or the headphones. Yeah. All right, testing.
We'll see if
testing.
So mute the Zoom again and see if oh.
Think we might have action.
Well, actually. So unmute your Zoom now, Rusty.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can hear myself. I can't. Okay, I think we do have action. Yeah, this might be This might work. I can't guarantee it. When I go to pair these afterwards, I'm not so certain that we'll be able to put your Zoom up, but we'll give it a shot. We'll try to close out the show.
You did tell me these things might die, but I was like, they're fully charged.
I told you exactly this. I mean, we're kind of pros at this by now. I was like, I was hoping that your
headset.
Yeah. I was hoping that your AirPod would have given you a little signal like, 10%, and then you could plug one into the thing so they never fully die.
Yeah,
I guess I could do one right now. Actually.
For sure. Yeah, that's the move. All right, so hey, Rust, I just want to talk with you about constantpursuit.com and everything that you do there. You obviously build amazing websites. You built ours, and you help a bunch of people out. So we wanted to give you a little boost on that.
Yeah, so I started a business building paintball park websites. I saw that like there was such a big gap between the quality of a website for paintball parks and like trampoline parks and all these other businesses that have really nice stuff. So I created a company that makes websites affordable for paintball parks, and I fully manage them. So what I typically saw was people get a website built and then they would go on to destroy their own website with bad images, moving things around and getting out of place. So I specialize in building and managing websites for paintball parks. And I did that as a goal to help the sport. If a kid comes to a website and it looks really cool and it's easy to navigate and they can book a birthday party and it's you send their mom there and they know where to go and get things done, that just helps everyone. Whereas they go to the website and they're like, this looks like it's like Army Joe's from 1995 and the website's shoddy. They're like, a guy may bounce and not think that's a good place to go.
Yeah.
So that there's so much more digital stuff going on now that's where people first make your first customer experiences on a website.
Yeah.
versus going to a
Absolutely.
business. Like back in the day, you would go to a field and you'd be like, wow, I didn't know they had all this cool stuff. Now you have to show all that cool stuff on the website. So that when people come to the website, they see all your cool obstacles and all the fields you set up. And, you know, if you're a Disneyland looking field, you showcase that stuff, then you can attract more people.
Dude, our website is lit. I mean, it's awesome. You have everything on there. We got the podcast, we got the YouTube, the, you know, bio about us and all this different stuff. So definitely head over to ptgpodcast.com and see his work of what he created for us, and give him a look at constantpursuit.com because he's cooking it up.
Absolutely. He's also got the marcelomargot.com website too. Rusty is a master at these.
Whenever I can help out you guys, you know, putting together a good presence so that, you know, you guys are putting this project together, and I didn't know how you guys are going to do, you know, like, okay, like, so it's like, let's see how many shows they're going to do and what they're going to put together. But you guys have worked really hard at it and seem like you're having a lot of fun doing it. So it's good to watch, you know, because I saw it from the beginning, because you guys are like, here's what we're going to do. And I helped build your website.
Yeah, totally.
And now you got like loads of episodes. So it's good to see that you guys are chucking away and having good conversations.
Dude,
it's fun, man.
We're all in, man. We're full send on this thing. This is going to be for the long haul. We keep saying it, but we can't wait until we have events and stuff, because it's going to be so much better to have stuff to really talk about and dissect afterwards. You know,
totally.
You know, jump in with the guy that had like things happen at the tournament.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly.
Yeah,
like we're going to be the ESPN of paintball.
That's right.
Yeah. What is it? Garnett has Area 20, Area 21, or Area 51.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
I don't know. Nice.
Kevin Garnett has like a kind of a show they do. It's pretty good.
Dude,
they keep it raw on that show.
Tight.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Rust,
I love it.
We got to ask you, I don't know, Tyler might have another one, but I got one last question for you before we let you go. We've done almost 2 hours. Appreciate you. I know you got the family there, and Jess is hurting all the youngsters right now. But this question is for players, up and coming players. You know, you being a professional coach, what kind of advice could you give players that are trying to make their way through the ranks and get on a professional team? Like, what does a coach look for in a player?
Yeah, I've actually answered this question a few times. I think what you have to do as a player is create separation. And it's so easy when you think about it. You don't have to be as good as Tyler Harmon to be dominant in D5. You don't have to be as good as you, Marcelo, to dominate in D4. You just got to be better and work harder than the guys in your division.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to go out, and, you know, and if you're taking the training that Tyler shows you, I show you, or Marcelo, any of your clinics you're showing people that take those training and do that actually execute the training. Like, you could go watch a video on how to cook some meal. If you never go execute that and practice it, you're not ever going to be good at it.
Yeah.
So if you actually take the stuff that people teach you and you execute on that, you're going to just catch the edge. So you'll be better than the people. If you study the field and you listen to a field breakdown, you might have a couple better ideas than the guys showing up, and you might just look that much better. So you're always just looking for the edge, and that's the key. And that goes through every division you go through, is you're just trying to create separation and find an edge. So if you go out and do drills, for one of you guys, if you guys go out and do drills one day before our practice and you show up, you could have the edge over other guys playing. And I could, as a coach, be seeing you and go, well, he seems like he's working hard. He's into it. He's making plays. He's killing people. And that's based on that one extra day you did to catch the edge over guys that are your peers. So really, it's just about finding the edge constantly. And obviously, I like if guys are listening. If you're a younger player and you're listening and absorbing. So if I tell you something, it doesn't turn into an argument. It turns into a discussion. Obviously, like, that's what I look for as a coach. You know, when it turns into an argument constantly, that's when you see a player plateau, and they really are filling a gap for their own deficiencies. When it turns into a discussion, you're both learning and growing on the experience. So that's another key factor. But overall, finding the edge, and that's not just paintball. That's everything you compete in. You always just look for the edge above your level and strive for that, and you always have an advantage.
Nice.
So,
absolutely love that, dude.
A little follow up: if there was one player in the league that you could pull to Dynasty, and it doesn't even need to be, actually not even in the league, if there was just one player, is there one paintball player you get to snap your fingers, that player's on Dynasty, who would it be?
I would probably say J-Rab, because I had a lot to do with helping train him when he was young. Like I trained DC Devastation. I worked with him in Cali when they were divisional players. He used to come along to clinics and help me as like an assistant demonstrator. And, I was always, Rab stood up in my wedding. So he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So to have like the relationship I have with J-Rab, and obviously his play speaks for itself. So,
yeah.
But probably because of the background I have with him, and me and John were around him and helped mold him into some of the parts of the player he is. Obviously he went on to have his own. I wasn't with him his whole career, but we were in the early parts.
Yeah.
So it's like the relationship him and has with you and Mouse and those guys. I sort of have a bit of that with him and Callie and those guys.
Dude,
Nice.
Rusty, what a legend you are, man. Like, honestly, what you've done as a coach, as a player, he's doing the old earbud swap here. He's still rocking with us. It's truly amazing. And we're so grateful to be coached by you. I started out being coached by Bob Long, I don't plan on going anywhere, and I don't think you do either. And to have such an amazing coach to play under is just, it's rare and it's really special. And we're so grateful to have you. My last question is, who is your favorite coach of all time from like any sports? It doesn't have to be paintball, just like your favorite coach.
Belichick.
Definitely Belichick, just because of all the work that he puts in, and it's really about the system. So you see them interchange players but still have success, whereas other coaches, they don't have that same systematic approach that he has. So I just like the strategy, number one, and also the system. So I've always respected their ability they're not seated high, so they don't draft high all the time. So they have to really like work with getting veteran players, getting low drafts, and still producing lots of Super Bowls. Yeah. So I've always respected his strategies and his methods. And he has a lot of background. His dad was actually a football scout. So it's like a family kind of thing. And the concepts that his dad had in being a scout carried over through his coaching methods too. So that's an interesting part of it. But yeah, I've always respected him. Paintball coach, I've always liked Shane, obviously, because he was a player coach. So I have that. He has obviously a different style than me, high energy, like you said earlier. Yeah. But I watched him on like VCR tapes, dominating in the woods with the Ironman as a younger guy. And then he was on the Ironman forever. And then he coached them successfully. So I feel like he was sort of a coach that it seemed like it'd be fun to play with and around him, just because he had so much experience. And he always boosts. When I see him now, I show the tournament, I feel good talking to him. So I've always liked him as a coach for sure.
Huge shout out to Shane Pestana. He's one of my favorite humans on the planet for sure. Just such a genuine dude, man. Always, like you said, boosting, just has great energy. And he'll cut your ass in a second too, though. Like not with a knife, but like cut you from the team, if you're not playing well, he's not messing around. So he's about winning. And I love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah,
totally, man.
Coach I hated was probably Bob Long. Because he was so good, but he would say some like off the cuff stuff to you on the sidelines, or like, I mean, he was good, and he had all you guys just like dialed like little robots, and he would say stuff, and he would get under your skin sometimes.
Yeah, don't wonder where it comes from. That was just who I was trained by for like 8 years.
That's funny.
If you go up to Bob's house, forget about it. You're having a horrible weekend.
Oh, dude,
every angle possible to make your life a nightmare. If you go to his house, dude, forget about that.
Yeah, those were some rowdy practices back in the day.
Traps set on every possible angle for sure. Your paint's cooking in the sun. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, he knew how to work the angles for sure.
Yeah.
It was some fun times.
That's super funny. Well, damn, Rusty, thank you so much, man. We did 2 hours. We got to power through even with the headphone fiasco, but this was amazing
Marcelo,
content. Yo,
good luck editing this, buddy.
Yeah. Here we go. Straight into the gulag right now. But seriously,
man,
Coach.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I miss you guys. I can't wait to get back to, getting back to the grind and starting the process. That's the fun part.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you at the river with the 6-pack. We'll do some tubing here.
We're gonna be doing some G2 grinds coming up.
That's right. Yeah, everybody in the Arizona area, get ready for G2 Paintball coming up in August. We will be at a couple different fields. So go to g2paintball.com, log in, get the details there. And Rusty, once again, thank you for everything you do for Paintball and for Dynasty. You're just a badass, and we appreciate you coming on the show with us and having some fun, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right on,
I'm gonna go put kids to sleep.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah,
Peace.
Me too, dude. Peace.
All right.
Later, brother.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show. We do apologize for the audio and the lag that we had going on. Rusty warned him about those darn Apple headphones, but either way, we had great content from Rusty as usual. Rusty's just so well thought out and so analytical and really good at explaining these concept ideas. So we knew it was going to be a great episode. It definitely was. And as Rusty touched on, he is the owner of Constant Pursuit, his web design company that builds websites for much of the paintball community. He actually did the PTG Paintball website as well. So you guys could head over to ptgpaintball.com and check it out. That is also where we have all of our merchandise. If you guys would like to become a supporter of the show, our Patreon's on there. We greatly appreciate it. We are intending to do a ton of really cool things in the near future for our Patreon supporters, whether it be giveaways. We're going to try to implement some sort of live shows and show bloopers from like before episodes, things like that, before we actually start recording. So tons of cool stuff on there. And yeah, we just can't thank you guys enough, and we hope you guys have enjoyed the show, enjoyed this episode, and we hope to see you guys at a paintball field very soon. If you guys do have any PTG merch, if you pick anything up, make sure you guys are posting it on Instagram and tagging us. We would love to reshare your stuff. We appreciate your guys' support. You guys are definitely part of this movement. It's all for the culture, all love for the game, and we can't thank you enough. So until next time, guys, we will see you soon.